What's up, everybody? Justin here, and welcome back for the very second episode of Off the Dock. Tonight, we are going to have the guys from Lifted Jigs here with us. So this is going to be probably a fun one. Just got off of their live stream over on their Instagram. So without further ado, let's get these guys up.
Yo!
What's up, guys? What's up?
What's up?
Okay, now we're getting some people on. I was like, did it actually connect?
Where's everybody at? We just told them to leave our kayak live and come over here and subscribe. Did you hit 8K yet?
Oh, let me see. I was getting close.
We're counting on it.
We're gonna need that 8K.
Oh yeah, we're live. We're definitely live.
Good.
So
Good. We are live on YouTube.
We'll do it live.
So the first thing I gotta ask you guys is, how the hell did you get your start making jigs?
Oh boy.
Do I take this one? I probably should take
Because
this
you know, there's people that subscribe to me that may not know who you guys are,
Right.
and I don't think I know the whole story. So I want to know the whole story.
one. All right. So the whole story begins and ends with me being a mediocre bass angler, right? Like at best, mediocre at best.
End of story.
I've done good. I've won some things, right? Whatever, right? Let it be what it be, right? I probably ain't ever going to compete again. You know, I threw my back out. I got some stuff.
His knee pops so loud, it literally makes me want to puke.
But anyway, so it all started with me trying to come up with things to make it tweak things, tweak products, tweak tube jigs, tweak regular jigs. And it all kind of started with me doing that. And then I started drilling hole and wood and pouring lead and stuff in the garage. And then, it went from me wanting to be a bass angler to me wanting to be a bass company. There was a lot more behind that, but that's the gist of it, right? So
your original thing was the true goby.
Yeah.
To try to give you an advantage.
Absolutely. And that was
in your bass fishing.
And that was the tweaks.
That's still pretty
made,
unique,
right?
That's still a pretty unique jig head.
Yeah, and I mean, there's people who, used it. Marcel and Chad Pipkins, they've used it, and they've had success on it, and that was where the name came from. The head of that tube jig was to be lifted off the bottom to mimic goby and Lake St Clair and stuff. So the lift of that head kind of gave us the name Lifted Jigs, and that's kind of what snowballed into that. And then we started doing skirted jigs, which I said I'd never do, and I did that. And then I started doing other things I said I'd never do,
Right.
And then now we're here.
Right.
So how long ago was the first actual official product sold? How long ago was that?
5 years ago? No, 6 years ago.
6 now.
6 years ago.
Yeah. It was before I knew
6
you.
years ago.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Time flies.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's nuts. My favorite thing is he's like, I was a bedroom company.
Started the company in my bedroom.
Was to get enough sales to get into the garage.
Yep. So we grew the business from my bedroom to my garage, and that was a milestone. And then we grew it from the garage to a building, which was a smaller building, and then we grew it out of that building into this much larger building in Wayne. So
How many square feet are you guys producing in right now?
right now we have just over 2,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
So-
it's pretty good. It's not enough.
It's mainly
Sadly, it's not
it's
enough.
mainly
already
all
outgrew it.
building.
Already outgrew it, huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're looking at another building.
Yeah, we outgrew it. Like,
Now my wife wants to buy a building, and I'm like,
what are we doing?
that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So you guys got to go down to the Classic. I got screwed. Word gotten away from me, so I couldn't sneak down. How was it?
It was fun.
It was. So we've never been to a
Never
classic, and we've we didn't know what they like. When you go to the classic, you do as the Bassmaster Classic
Right.
Ians do,
Right.
right? You do what they do, and
Yeah.
man, it was a fun time. I mean, outside of like the actual expo and the tournament, like you minus everything out of the fishing, like just don't even make it about fishing. We met some awesome people. And that's what a company or an angler is there to do. You go down there, you network, you meet people, and you kind of grow, right? There's me pumping gas.
Yep. I was on our way.
Yep. There's a lot of weird looks on when I'm weird. Whenever we do social stuff, like people are always like, look at those goofballs taking a picture of themselves. And
Right, I know.
And being at the Classic was very surreal, right? You got all the top pros there. We had our pro Bill Weidler, our elite pro. He helped us design the new SL, which the SLM is out. The SLX will be out soon. But it was good. I mean, we did a ton of stuff. We met a bunch of Canadians. We went kind of wild with some Canadians. Couple all-nighters. I mean, things got really weird, Justin.
Dude,
I mean,
just stay away from Canadians. I mean,
I
don't know
love
what
me
it
some
is.
Canadians.
That's a
Canadians
bad
are fun, man.
they outdo everything.
So like, you know what? We drink and we fish, and that's it. And we ain't fishing. That's like, oh boy.
Well, it definitely helps that their beer content has a little higher alcohol than ours
Right.
does.
Yeah, I know. So they were down here like, this is nothing bad.
2-1, man.
It's
2-1.
First time at Top Golf. Birmingham, Alabama was sweet.
Yep.
They had Top Golf there. First time ever being able to golf there. We've been there before for food.
Yeah.
But first time golfing there, it was awesome. Like I said, if you look at everything that's not related to fishing, it was just as much fun as everything regarding the fishing, right? Being able to see the companies there, the anglers, all the behind the scenes kind of look at what they're doing.
Right. It's really cool to be, get the weigh-in and stuff, from the big stadium and all the people. And it's just, they put on a pretty good show. Expo, it was packed. I mean, there were so many people in that thing.
Yeah.
But
ooh, the new SLX, I like that. That's got the size there on the bottom.
Yep.
So we don't get to see the profile yet? Is that what this is?
Oh no, you can see the profile of the SLX. So the SLX, I guess this is.
Do you have one up there yet?
So the SLX is. So there's two things about the SLM, the SLX, right? So we started the product kind of behind the scenes, working with Mystery Tackle Box, a product kind of designing something for them. But then we took what we designed for them and we gave it to our Elite Pro, and he kind of took it and he said, okay, we need to make it better. Yeah. And by better, what he meant is this hook needs to be much more stout.
Right. For the guys down south.
Because we were making it more, we were making it for more like a micro swim jig. And he's like, listen, I want to make this thing a beast. So then we upped everything. We went to a heavier weed guard, and we went to a 5/0 extra strong Mustad hook. So that's why it's the SLX, because it's the extra strong version. And then the SLM is, the micro version, which is only available in 1/4 ounce.
Okay. So I'm digging the new Swim Jig. I ain't gonna lie. I like the way the head looks on that.
Thank you.
And the guy you had to take pictures, I approve of.
Yeah. Bo, you know what? Bo. Big shout out to Bo.
Yeah.
Bo, great guy. Yeah. Just kind of out of the blue, hit us up. Was like, He's like, we want to take some picures. I'm like, well, I need people to take pictures. So,
I'm sick of taking pictures.
Oh, let's get together. Me and him are supposed to go do some stuff out in the boat here shortly.
Oh, cool.
To do some content. So this should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, he does good work for sure.
Yeah,
he does really good work.
The one thing I'm shocked is that he sold all of his kayaks to buy all that gear to do this.
Really?
He's a hell of a kayak guy. Yeah, he's a hell of a kayak angler. I believe it was the first FLW event last year he won.
Really?
Yeah, he actually showed up and won it and did really well, and then just sold everything off to go do what he's doing now.
Man of mystery.
Smart man.
Wow.
He is
smart man.
He's like, I'm gonna make some money.
Right, exactly. Smart man.
But
he does it. He's got some stuff for us right now. All new product picks.
Yeah, we just gave him some stuff
yesterday. He was up here.
He did not come to the building. He didn't want coronavirus. So.
He didn't want coronavirus.
You don't want to risk it. I get it. You don't want to risk it.
He was a little under the weather too, so we were waiting for him to get healthy, get my boat back too. So
you stay away from us, Bo.
I don't think he's got coronavirus. I think he's got the flu or something.
Yeah, I mean the new SL head. I mean, we kind of went away from the 3DI.
Yeah.
We want to kind of make this more of like an all-around jig, but it's a platform. It's a swim jig platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we wanted to be able to kind of do all with it, and the eye adds a little bit, but it's, I mean, just to be able to produce it faster, and it's gonna do just about the same thing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, you go to a mold-in eye, a 3D eye, as long as you have a definition of an eye that the bass can kind of key in on,
Right.
I think it's going to be really
Good
good.
enough.
Now, is that skirt hand tied on, or are we using rubber
No,
bands?
that is rubber band tied on.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's rubber band tied.
That's kind of our problem is our numbers have gone up to such a point where it's like,
It's hard to do that hand tied. You know?
it's just the amount of people it would take to be able to keep that up. Is impossible.
Oh yeah, and
So
the
the
speed.
speed,
Right.
yeah, the speed in general, it's like, I mean, you could hand tie them all, but it's like everybody's like, we want more, right?
Right.
And it's like, well, that
Where's
means
my
I can't
order?
hand
It's
tie
like,
every one of them. So,
Right.
so
That's
it's a big
tough.
deal.
Well, at least you know that you're using high quality skirt material too from the get go. So
Oh,
that's
always,
nice.
always. And all of our colors that we're producing now are all custom colors we have for us, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, as we go through more and more, we're getting more custom colors, add a little bit of flake here, a little more blend of blue or black and stuff like that.
I'm digging. What was it, chartreuse color? What was the name of that one?
Fast shad.
Is that what's called fast shad? That was
Fast shad.
That
Oh,
was a sweet looking color. I like
listen,
that.
I'll be honest with you. My wife came up with that color. She came up with it. She put those two colors together, and we already had the color head.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
money. A big shout out to my
Yeah,
wife.
yeah,
Yep, she's
yeah.
listening.
So she heard that.
Yep, her
All of a
ears
sudden,
perked
there
up.
she is.
Over here
Gave her a
smiling
plug.
in my ear. Yeah, look at
Taking all
that.
her credit.
Oh, I'm gonna pull it up for everybody so you can see this thing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it.
It's a very Michigan color on a great
It
level.
is.
Honestly, it's a very Michigan color.
It really is.
Got that antifreeze head going. I like it.
Yeah.
Looks
we're
good.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the old spinner baits. You know, the
Right.
spinner bait colors.
Yeah.
Yep.
Chartreuse top, white bottom.
That's what you use.
It's like, man, you know, because you're throwing it like one, right?
right.
The
Same
eye
type, right?
the eye line tie is pretty much at the same angle of a
Yeah,
spinner
it's
bait,
pretty close.
right? So that's how you're really fishing.
Yeah.
You're swimming it by docks as quick as you can. Sometimes you're hitting the end of the docks. It all
Yeah.
depends on how you want to use it.
Right. That's the
You
cool
get-
thing about the swim jig. You can just do whatever you want.
And that bluegill color is nicely done.
Yeah,
Yes.
Gillish was created like 4 years ago.
Right.
That color,
I know.
and it's kind of transformed into every one. It's been one of our most
it's
popular
not
colors.
going away because
That's definitely more of a Michigan bluegill than a southern bluegill because those have
Yep.
a lot darker
Yep.
coppery colors. We're a little more muted, whited out up
Yeah.
here. So
Well,
Yeah,
that's
nice
one of
to
the
see.
good things about working with Bill Weidler now is like he's real in tune down south, so
Yeah,
that helps us with. I mean, we're working with him on colors and stuff for more of that southern market because it's like,
Yeah, we
I
don't
know what
really
they use
go
down
down
there.
I mean, we can see what people copy what other people are doing, but it's like we want to have that little bit of insight because we're up here fishing clear water.
Right.
He's fishing stuff that's like the color of the Corona and the beer we're drinking. You know what I mean? So he has a different look, and then we're like, oh yeah, that looks good. We trust you.
Yeah.
Here's this color, right?
you guys won't believe this. I totally forgot to move my mic over closer to me. It's been sitting off to the side the whole time.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Look at you.
This is what happens when you're live. Right?
Yeah.
Warts
Well,
and all.
when you're trying to do everything, make it look
Yeah, right.
fancy.
Right.
It's
Got a
like
million-
I'm truly listening, but I'm also clicking 20 things at
I
once.
know. It's
No, it's
really
good.
cool though, man.
I
The
like-
stream looks good. I love it.
I like the way it looks. It looks
It's
really
cool
good.
software that I found. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Absolutely.
Man. I like it.
Cost a little bit of money to run it, but makes it nice and clean. I tried OBS and just too many issues when you get
Right.
updates and stuff. And
Right.
I decided to go a different route and be
Now
done with it.
you have to pay for this one
Yeah, this is not a freebie,
because
but
OBS is like open source stuff.
open
right?
source free.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. You can do a lot more with it, for
Right.
free. But I would love to get to where I could afford to do TriCast.
Right.
But then I'd look like Ike Live and have like 20 million people,
Yeah,
different
there you
cameras.
That's what we want you to get. That's where we
Yeah.
want you to get because
Right. He needs some competition.
you got Film Crew Billy sneaking up.
Right.
And Film
Yeah.
Crew Billy's watching right now.
Yeah.
Film Crew Billy's gonna be around here and he's gonna be popping up in a bathroom near you. You never know.
You never know that guy.
So you guys have how many elite guys on staff right now?
So right now we specifically have one, right?
On the elites,
But
yeah.
we're talking to two other ones.
Yeah.
We're talking to two other ones and a very large new kayak influencer, super cool chick. I don't want to talk too much about it, but
Yeah, you probably figured it out.
Do I know
figure
her?
it out.
Do I know her?
you've seen her.
Yeah, you know who she is.
You've
Okay.
seen her.
Yeah.
Dude,
So,
she does some
she's
awesome, cool stuff.
Really.
And then the other two elite guys we're talking to, one's FLW, one's elite. Super good guys, like just living the dream, man.
Right.
So was there anybody at the Classic that you kind of like fanboyed on?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. No disrespect to Monster Bass or anything, but what's his name? Carl Van Dibbles, dude. I seen that guy. He is a lot shorter than I thought. I thought he'd be like this big guy.
I know. I was like, hey, it's Carl. I know. It was weird because like I've been seeing him for so long. It's like, oh, he's right next to me. Oh, I'm shaking his hand.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird. It's like, oh, that's cool.
So he was a highlight and the Guggen guys weren't. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, you know, no disrespect to Guggen, but they had a lot of younger kids there.
I'll tell you what, Guggen had like a meet and greet or whatever.
It was out the door.
I've never seen a line like this. I was like, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. No, it's pretty cool.
Nuts.
I'm sure that the industry they kind of fought back at them at first when they first came in, and you know, the whole YouTube social media thing was new, and they didn't understand it, so they went out and did their own thing.
The same thing for 30 years, and it's like all of a sudden these guys come in, they're like, "No, we don't like this." It's like, well, I don't care.
Let us in.
right.
Knock on the door, let us in. And they're like, "Who are you? I don't understand."
Yeah, I didn't say you could come in here. I was like, well, whatever, I'm coming. Yeah.
So, what other new products do you guys have launching?
We got
and we'll talk about that other company later if you want.
Oh,
I was on that night. I heard that.
So
you got one.
Yeah, I've been holding one. I always carry something. So we got new Dropshot weights coming.
Yeah.
We actually I'm just waiting for more keepers. I mean, nothing crazy with Dropshot. I mean, it's not tungsten. I don't throw Dropshot tungsten because we live in the D, right? So it's like the Detroit River will take your tungsten for $7 a pop,
right?
And I'm not interested in spending $7 a pop. The only thing different about ours, we got the size that's in the side of it, right? So anything of ours is going to have the size, and then you'll see the LJ badge in the side of it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's
nice.
That'll be out in the coming a week or two once all the clasps get here. But what I did is I took a lot of our products and I sent them all in for redesign. Right. So we kind of came up with a lot of these next series products, the flipping jig, and we kind of came out with them with the actual purpose in mind, right? So ours was like, boom, we got to create something that's works this way, right? But we never really looked at it like we need to make it super sexy, right? So now we're taking the function and making it look better. So I threw about 9 designs in, and they're getting all new CAD designs for them. Same exact function, just going to make them look a little bit sexier on that route. I have been working on a Swimbait hook.
I want to talk about that color right there.
Oh, the Indy dark bloom.
Why are you guys giving out the secret for the summertime stuff?
Hey, listen, I don't throw that color as much, but I hear it's very popular. It does really well with us.
Right.
And if you guys know Indy Fishing on Instagram, at Indy Fishing, he is big on the Japanese direct market.
Yep.
And this is a hot color out of Japan, which has been there. They've been doing it for years, and not a lot of American companies do it. And when he brought it to me, I'm like, yeah, we'll do it. I'm telling you, the matte black with the matte bottom skirt with the black gloss top with the bubble gum, it's money. It looks good.
Well, I tell you what, there is a very quiet group of guys in mid-Michigan that are not happy you guys put that out.
All right.
because that was their summertime deep water, jig that they did different. What they were doing is taking the black and blue, take the blue out, put some crazy color on, and it seemed to get more bites in the summer months than doing the classic colors.
Sure.
That's something they do in mid-Michigan quite a bit, quietly.
You know that.
It's good to know because I fish a lot in mid-Michigan.
I got a few lakes that I have never been to that I want to hit.
Yeah, there's some great lakes up there, man.
One reminds me of some stuff down south. All the little creek channels and points.
Right.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to name the name, but if you can Google Earth, you can figure it out because there's not many of them like that in Michigan. There's not many like that.
No, there is not.
So,
at all.
Michigan's got a lot of good lakes. Tons of good lakes.
It's crazy.
Michigan's got a lake for every style of fishing.
Every style
it
you want.
Really does.
that's what makes us so versatile. Is like I can do anything. I can just go to a lake and like I know what to do there.
Right. I wish we could just see more bigger tournaments come here. Love Cash for Bass. You know, we've been a giant advocate of Cash for Bass, but I'd like to see some more lifted jigs. I'd love to see more lifted jigs, but I'd love to see more like FLW here outside of BFL, right? BFL's Detroit River, St Clair, Detroit River, St Clair, Detroit River, St Clair, right?
Burt Lake mullet every 3 years.
Yeah, you got every leap year we'll go to like Burt or wherever. But I'd like to see.
That's the thing. You got Burt mullet. You got Charlevoix up there. I mean, you got so many.
I think Wixom. You can go to Wixom. I think they have enough boat ramp for that.
Wixom doesn't. Wixom just got water back last year, so it's going to be a few years.
Yeah, that would be a little bit different. But
good
just
point.
in history, right? So it would have been nice to see.
Well, I mean, you have the whole west side of the state. That
you
totally gets ignored by
Muskegon, Whitehall, that whole deal.
Yeah,
I mean, when we go there, we go out of the Grand, and you got to run up there, right? You got to run up to all these other lakes, which makes it a pain in the butt. But I mean, I'd like to just see more of that. You know what I mean?
Well, I know Major League went up to Alpena.
Yeah, I did see that.
They did some Great Lakes and some inland lakes up there. There's one up there I want to go hit sometime this summer. So
we do the because we don't get to fish much, right?
We
because
make ourselves,
because we do this.
You thought making fishing tackle would be the best job in the world. You get to fish all the time.
You know what?
Poor decision. Let me tell you.
Who knew, right?
Like, Who knew? Right, exactly. Cool. You're gonna watch everybody else fish.
I can never fish again.
Now it's like, hey, let's get the boat out and test it. It's like, let's just test them in the sink.
That
was a lot. But I mean, I don't know where I was going with that. Dang it! We do the Bassmaster team tournaments.
Right.
So we do the Bassmaster team trail just to kind of force us to get out.
We sign up just to make sure we go fishing.
It just kind of keeps us honed in. And, sometimes we get in our own head and we're like, this is good, this is good, this is good. And then we go out there and it's like, dude, like right now it's crankbait.
Yeah,
it's like, oh man, we didn't think about that. Let's do this.
Well, I'm already planning my week-long trip up to Traverse City area. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay.
And I can care less if I hit Traverse Bay.
Right.
Because there's too many good lakes up there.
Right.
Some we can talk about, some we cannot talk about.
Sure.
Yeah.
There was one that
there's so many options up there. It's like you don't even have to hit the bay.
Oh yeah. I stumbled into one, literally gravel ramp, full send back on and off the trailer. But it was so worth it. 4 pound fast, all on top water. It was insane. And I'm so going back to that lake because I only covered one. If you it's a round lake, so if you just put it into a square, I only covered one side of the lake.
Right.
Oh well.
And I probably had 23, 24 pounds in largemouth.
Right. Largemouth, because mostly a lot of that up there is dominated
up
by
in northern
smallmouth.
Michigan. Yeah. That's the thing. Is like I have a lake in mid-Michigan where it's like the boat ramp is basically crumbling. As you can't really even get a boat in there. But
those are scary.
I mean, it's got 4 and 5 pounders everywhere, and it's like no one fishes this. It's crazy.
Give me it. I'll be there. I got an aluminum bass boat. We'll full send.
Yeah, exactly. We can do that.
Or you can just jump in a kayak.
There you go.
That works too.
Kayaking.
No, that was an interesting deal because I went to a different lake than the first thing in the morning, and it just wasn't happening. Could not get smallmouth to go. Caught some rock bass. Supposed to be some brown trout in that lake too. Nothing was going. It's like, let's go over this little lake. I get there, first cast, blow up in less than a foot of water through pin reeds. It was like game on. I went through 20 bags of Zoom horny toads.
Just killing them.
Oh, that's such a fun way of fishing.
And then like a light switch at noon, it just shut off.
Done. Either hit it or miss it. Yeah.
It was all pike. The bass left the pen reeds and were just roaming and wouldn't touch a thing. I tried Senkos, and we're talking clear water. So
just go get lunch. Right. Just say, forget it. I'm gonna go get lunch. I'll be back at 3 o'clock.
I'll be back for you, Bass.
Yeah, I headed down to where did I go after that? Was it Green Lake? I camped down at Green Lake. What the heck's the state park there? It's like the very first state park in Michigan too.
Yeah.
Interlaken. Yeah, so I stayed there. That was a cool place. I've never stayed there. That was a nut house in the summer, by the way. Don't go there in the summertime.
Yeah, so that's the problem is it gets crazy up there. because everybody goes up there.
Only one so far. Only one.
Only one.
Only one.
Oh well,
So going low key so far.
party
Go
time.
one. Yeah,
It's not party time yet.
Well, you have to limit your social interaction.
Right. You got to
less
conserve
beer
too.
runs, so I got to be cautious here.
You don't know when we're going to get cut off, so you got to conserve your.
I only have so much Tito's left as well.
Right.
I have
big
plenty
shout
of rum. So if I
Big
get
shout out to
I got
my
rum.
wife. My wife comes back to the shop with beer. Like
Yeah.
you don't normally find that, and she kind of was like, she brings back this case of Corona. We're like, all right, I guess we're gonna do that now.
That's Ned's in the game. We agree with you.
So
That's the game. I love it. Look, got the Ned shirt on, the
so-
Ned EWG shirt.
So
Yeah,
let's
Hi, Heather.
let's talk about these net heads. When are the bigger hooks going to be available?
I knew
Oh my
it
goodness.
was coming.
Oh my goodness.
Somebody's got to ask it. When are they coming?
You know it's coming. It's always coming.
So we I don't know if we settled the score.
Right.
You know what? Maybe we'll be like the people who always talk about something that never come out
We
with it.
just never do
We'll
it.
just be like, it's coming out next
Yep.
year. It's
Be
coming
ready,
out next
boys.
year. We'll
Be
build up
ready.
the anticipation, and then we'll start making crankbaits or something. You know,
Surprise.
surprise. But we are waiting on the actual new custom-made Ned hooks, right? So we are the first one to kind of go custom-made for like what we're doing in the
Right.
EWG.
We work with we went back and forth with VMC.
Yep, on
long
sizes and
time.
custom make. It was kind of a bigger investment, but we knew it was going to be worth it
Right.
because, I mean, I feel like we have one of the best Ned products out there. And a lot of people are kind of copying it now, and which is whatever, it is what
Right.
it is. But now that we went to this custom hook, we're able to give everybody something that, you can't get elsewhere. You know
How
what I mean?
do you feel about that being copied?
You know what? It's almost humbling, right?
Right,
Because
a
it's
little
like,
bit. It's like,
Because there is a lot of it in this business lately,
yeah.
and some of it is very shady.
Oh
the way
yeah.
they do it. They take it to China and then
Yep.
it's not nearly as good, but they put a huge price tag on it. Not going to
Yep.
name
Yep.
any names. There's a
Yep.
couple new ones.
It's easy to do.
Kind of bugs me a little bit.
Yep.
you know what?
In the end, they will lose though. Almost always. So, and I think of like the ChatterBait. It's like, all right, how many ChatterBaits are there? 1 million now, right? But when somebody goes to the store, they're like, give me the Z-Man ChatterBait. And,
Yeah.
and that's it. So
Exactly.
It's like, that's the way we figure. You know what? If you want a cheaper one, that's fine. Go nuts. But, we're just going to make ours. And the cool thing with the new hook is no one else can get it.
Yeah, we kind of locked it up.
That is our hook.
What we did is we made it like, so when we went back and forth on size and stuff, I got the sheet, but we were like we were trying to get it to where it was like perfect the way it would sit on like a block style head, so that the eye is not too far in or too far out, and we kind of got it like the perfect spot. So anybody else who wants to try to copy it now, they have to overextend the eye, like, and it'll be like stupid looking,
Right.
or they have to underextend it, and
Yeah.
it'll be
not gonna
filling with
work.
lead all the
Right.
time for them. So we kind of put ourselves in this perfect spot.
Yeah.
And we hate to say like controlling the hook market because anybody can do it, but right now we're like, yeah, we'll start to OEM them in the future, right, to other companies, and I think we're going to see that coming soon. So a lot of people like it. They understand how difficult it is to like produce it, because right now the process is very difficult.
That sucks.
So people have been coming to us like, hey, we'd like to OEM it.
Yeah.
Will you sell to us at bulk? And they'll keep the Lifted Jigs name on it. We're talking about doing it.
Right.
It's in the communication.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
But,
Cool.
So once we get that new hook, as I answer your first question,
yeah,
so once we get the new hook, then we can get the bigger hooks.
Yes.
Because we could do the bigger hooks right now, but it's kind of pointless because we'd be doing it the old style when we're
'Cause
going to switch it all out anyway.
I would love to see a half ounce.
oof.
Man, that's a big
The
dog.
thing I would love to see
For
that
that
half
big
ounce too.
TRD
We should do it.
summertime deal.
The thing is so Tackle Warehouse approached me and they asked me to go to Tungsten, which we're talking about going to Tungsten only because you can get that half ounce size and it won't be super bulky
Right.
opposed to what your plastic
lead
is.
Are you going to produce that here or over
No,
there?
and that's why we're still haven't
That's why I
done it.
hate tungsten.
Well,
It's like-
the reason I asked you're going to produce it here is because you can do the final procedure here.
yes.
But
Yeah,
you can't do the tungsten part in the States
No,
anywhere.
it's just not
you
going to
can't do
happen.
it. All the
It's not
tungsten is
gonna
out of
happen.
the country,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
So
So
that's kind of. I mean, we're starting to see that now. Where
6,000 degrees is all I'm going to say. Steel can.
right, exactly. It's hot. I'll be honest. I don't want to be nowhere near that stuff.
It's just not cost effective
Right.
to do it in the States, and that's why nobody's done it.
Right.
Yep.
But yeah, they came to us and they want us to do the Tungsten Nettie WG because of the popularity, but you can get to a bigger size without, oversizing your profile of your bait.
Without losing
Yeah.
the
Quarter 3/8 we're set up to where we'll be a little bit bulkier,
little bit.
right? But we'll be able to extend the head of it a little bit,
So it's going to look right.
so it'll look right. It won't look like a bullet. It'll look more like the standard head we have now.
Right.
Okay.
So.
Because that would be awesome on St. Clair, August.
Oh my goodness!
Oh.
Big old TRD.
Oh my goodness!
You
20
ain't
foot of
lying.
water. It'd be nice to fish that.
It takes you back to like using like a mega shaky head, right?
Yep.
You get to like a mega shaky head.
Yeah. Exactly.
We've talked about coming up with something like that. Our new structure, our next series structure jig that's coming out, it's got like that mega shaky head look, but it's a skirted jig.
Any plans for a swing jig?
A what?
A swing jig.
A swing jig? Remember we had the 38 swim. Remember
Yeah.
the 38 swim a
I
while
don't know
back?
if you
Well,
remember
I'm talking like the rugby style, EWG, put your own
Oh,
flag.
that. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? So a while, like when after the Nettie WG came out, I was like, let's do something bigger, right? And I was like, hold on, let's enjoy this for a minute.
Yeah.
And I talked about doing a swing head EWG or
Mhm.
something like that, but just with the small weight size compared to the hook and the action, from what we've seen in the test tank, I just didn't see it. Right? I mean, unless somebody else wants to show us a better way of doing it or rigging it or using it,
Yeah, we haven't figured
I just
that one
don't.
out yet.
It's just the way it sits in the water. It just doesn't look right to me. That's why we just kind of axed it.
Well, I know I'll drag that style head out on St. Clair with like a crawl bait.
Sure.
Instead of dropping a tube or something, we'll do that as just a different look.
Sure.
Especially when those fish are kind of keyed down to those crawls in the deep water. We do that sometimes.
Right.
That's
Well,
what
I'd like to get into the wobble head portion of the industry too, like the wobble head footballs and stuff like that. Maybe come out with a nice cool design to where you're dragging it and as it's hitting rocks, it'll kick your bait up, give it a little bit more kick.
Yeah.
I'd like to do something like that. I was looking into, it was that Gene LaRue came out with that, like the Biffle bug is good on it like a long time ago.
Yep.
And it's made to just kind of run across the bottom
Yep.
and hit, but I'd like to have it run across the bottom every time it would hit. It would pop that plastic up, give it something to do that. So I'd like to do more research into that.
We'd like
Are
to do
you-
a lot of stuff, and we don't have time for it.
Are you guys looking at doing a bladed S type jig of your own at all?
Yeah, so
Like a bladed
I get this
jig or a
question all the time.
scrounger style head, or
So
maybe something in the middle that I already have on paper.
Hey,
It works. I've made it in panfish size and it works.
So I've got
go figure.
a couple ideas in how to do it. There's a company that holds a patent for it, and everybody else uses a split ring, but the split ring kills action of it. I mean, it's still a good product. It still has good action, but the reason they patent the way you connect the blade to the eye is because the action is so much better.
It's the magic. That's the
That-
magic.
that's the secret sauce, right?
It. So that's what makes that thing so.
So
good.
how do you do something like that, right? And not infringe on what they're doing? I don't know if it's maybe they don't like the hook, and I'm a fan of patents, but then on the other end, I'm like, because anybody can copy it. But guess what? It's all based off of if you compare the right action with the right hook with the right colors, it'll keep people coming back. But
I got it on paper.
I've looked at some options. I don't want to say too much.
There's stuff happening.
Yeah,
There's
but
like I
I
can
don't
see
know.
it from where I'm sitting. If I look this way, I see something over
Yeah.
there.
So
I see a weird blade over here.
If it happens to be my exact idea, I'm gonna laugh.
That might be. Who
it's
knows?
funny you say that because when we came out with the next series jig, we had somebody email us was like, "You ripped off my idea. I had this idea
like
3
the
months
day
ago."
we sent it out, and it's like, what?
And-
It's a
and I'm
guy
like,
from California.
I don't know who you
Who
are.
is this guy?
He's like, "I had this idea. You stole
went,
my idea,"
"Man."
and I'm like, "I've been working on this idea for like 2 years, man."
Right.
Like
I didn't just. Yeah.
Yeah, mine. About 4 years ago was the first time I made one. I made it for pan fishing. Just
Right.
never upsized it. I just haven't gone big with it yet.
Right.
You'll have to show me.
Yeah, curious.
Maybe.
Have to show me. Actually, just show me how to panfish because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Listen,
Well,
Unless it's ice fishing.
I got the boat back and the perch are biting. I think I might go out Monday.
That'd be fun. Yeah,
I
I
just
don't
have
know.
to
Unless there's ice on the water, I don't know what I'm doing with panfish.
Oh, there's no
That's
ice.
true. Yeah.
The perch have been awesome on St Clair right now.
Oh, really? They're really hitting, huh?
Oh yeah.
Man.
And
Right.
if the governor closes down bait shops, I know they closed like salons and barber shops this afternoon.
Yeah.
So we still can get live bait. I'm gonna go that way. But if I got to fish plastics, I'll still go out and catch my limit right now.
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing with everything that's going on right now. We're sitting there talking. It's like, is things going to slow down here? And
they
My
haven't
wife-
slowed down.
My
Set
wife is
up.
still working, and she works in the auto industry. She's still working.
yeah,
Yeah,
and-
I mean,
They've been going
It's-
back and forth if they're going to work next week, and they can't give an answer because they don't know what they're
Right.
going to do.
yeah, it's crazy because like we were like, oh, is business going to slow down here? And it's like, no, it's
It
not
hasn't.
stopping.
It
It will.
hasn't at
It's like
all.
increased almost because
Right.
I don't know. People are sitting at home and they're like,
Yeah.
man, we need to
yeah.
buy
I'm just
some
gonna
more,
buy something,
whatever.
make
But
myself feel better.
The one
That's crazy.
thing, the one thing cool about the fishing industry and being a sales rep in the industry, this is a nice thing to have, is that fishing is kind of recession proof. In the
we've
fact,
talked about
We have
this.
talked
on the stuff that you guys sell, it's
Right.
kind of recession proof
Right.
because people are going to need terminal
Yes.
tackle to fish.
I can
Yep.
spend $5, almost
Yeah.
any time. Right.
Exactly.
But if I'm selling Ranger boats, I'm freaking out right now.
Yeah, if I'm selling big
Because
ticket
guess
items,
what? I ain't looking to buy a new boat right now.
It's funny because
Panoptics, talons, all that
Yeah.
stuff.
we were back at the Classic and we were talking to somebody at the Bass Cat booth. I think it was at Bass Cat or whoever it was. We said, hey, when are you guys going to come out with a kayak?
Yeah.
When is the big bass boat people
Right.
going to come out with kayaks? And they're kind of like,
Right.
It's like you guys are missing
What
opportunities
are you doing?
because that booth over there just sold 14 kayaks. And
Right.
you guys haven't sold one boat.
Right.
Yeah, well, the problem is most of the kayaks, they're shipping intensive, which kind of sucks sometimes.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And I think there's 3 factories down where Flambeau is that makes most people's boats.
Yes.
Yeah, they make
They're all
bona
made-
fide. They
Yep,
make.
they're-
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
there's a pile of them. They're all made in the same place. They just
Yep.
put a different mold and tumble it. So
I think that's where Crescent Kayak, the people we're working with,
Right.
they make theirs in the same facility, just custom molds, right?
Right.
Yeah. all different molds. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, if I got Ranger's, brand name,
Yep.
I'm figuring out how to put Ranger kayak
Yep.
because they can sell it for more.
Even just the
Yeah.
volume, right? I'll
right.
get that in volume because I have the name,
Yeah.
right? I can get that
Right.
now.
People know my name.
But company like Feel Free, yeah, they're a bigger name in kayak and stuff, but like you put that up against Ranger's name, I mean, they're gonna go with a Ranger all day
Right.
if they had it.
I mean, I got a Ranger aluminum bass boat. I like it.
Right. Right.
But the
They're awesome.
Vexus really has my eye right now.
You ain't lying.
That the
Those things are
AVX,
nice.
the AVX
Yeah.
19 is it 1980 or whatever it is or
Something
980?
like that.
Yeah.
At the
I
No Lie
looked
show
at
was
it.
the first time I ever seen a Vexus up close and in person. And I was like, whoa. This
Yeah,
is
they're-
nice.
Yeah, they are. The aluminums
Yeah,
do not look like aluminum from a distance.
Right.
No, they don't. It's the
Yeah.
way they sit in the water.
Yeah.
They're really cool. Vexus is doing a really good job, I think.
Well, I mean, it's all the guys that used to run Ranger before
Right.
Morris took it over,
Right.
and Bill Little and all those guys are very stand-up guys. They want to put out a really good product,
And
no
they know
matter
what the hell
what.
they're doing. Yeah.
Oh
They
yeah.
know how to build a boat.
So I'm excited. I mean, you never know if someone wants to steal my boat. I'm fully insured. Go for it.
Right. Feel free. Feel free. Here's my address.
It's always a risk.
No,
It's a
you're not
risk
getting my
we're taking.
address, but yeah, feel free to take it if you see it. I don't care. Feel free to take it. I'm fully insured. Just make sure there's no tackle in it, so you can take
Right.
it tonight.
Yeah, leave the tag.
Yeah, throw all the rods out and then take it.
Yeah, because there's stuff in that boat that I don't need somebody to see that I've been
Right.
working on.
Yeah.
So I got soft plastic stuff I've been designing, working on for like 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
I may do something with it. I may not. I don't know. The more stuff that's come out recently, it's kind of pushed where I probably can't patent it now because there's too many similar
Oh,
things.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
that kind of sucks a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you're working on bait shop budget,
Sticky.
when I started the project,
Exactly. It's like, oh,
Well, the thing is patents aren't worth their money, right? Because it's not initially the money you spend to patent it; it's the money you have to have to sit in court
and
and
defend
fight
it.
these people who
Right.
infringe upon
yeah.
it.
You have to.
And that was one of the things when we're talking to our general counsel was my brother-in-law. He's an attorney. it's like we have this conversation, and it's like he's like, you're going to sit in litigation for, and it's going to cost you a lot of money.
The man hours and time just.
Well, the one thing it helps you with is the bigger, more honorable companies, the little garage guys. You can't chase them. You're going to run all around chasing them all the time.
Right. Who wants to do that?
I mean, I came across a guy on Facebook selling a copy of the Rage Menace. I'm talking, you could tell that he took a little grinder and filled in the freaking Rage Crawl logo in the tail. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like, you can literally see it in the plastic. I'm like, that's just.
See, I can't understand that because it's
dirty.
At that point, you're just trying to make money, right? What are you doing it for? I mean, the part of the fun, I mean, like the SL Swim Jig, how many hours did we spend going back and forth and tweaking? It's so fun to do that stuff. And then when you see it finally produced, and then you see it, you actually build it, and it's like, oh, then somebody buys it. Then Bill Weidler's holding fish up with it. And it's like, that is awesome. We designed that thing from scratch.
So have you guys got the Monster Bass order done yet?
Let me check.
Is the Monster Bass order done yet?
Nope.
Hello.
Silence. Echo.
It's in the works. So we're running. It's getting risky out there because I don't know. Here's the thing: is I got to talk to Rick, and I got to talk to Alex at a lot of our subscription companies. Are they shipping product right now? I mean, Rick, I see Rick is on lockdown.
Oh yeah,
they're
California.
Oh yeah, he's California. That's right.
Yep. Yeah, he's in that social estate.
Yeah, right.
So we gotta find out what's going on because we'll probably make our window, but it's like
hooks
are they gonna be able to do anything with it?
Right.
You know what I mean?
I know most like Pradco right now is looking good, but end of April they're not sure yet. With everything going on. I mean, you think about the last 12 months, particularly here in the Midwest and Minnesota, Wisconsin, we've probably had the 12 toughest months for any fishing tackle business.
Right.
Between, you think about the high water, the flooding that we had in May. We had 23 days of rain in the state of Michigan, and May is the best month for sales on the retail side.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody struggled. Now you have high water in the Great Lakes. You have harbors that are not even able to open. I just saw something for South Haven Harbor. Their North Harbor will not be used this year because the electrical is underwater.
No way.
Yeah, so you can't put these salmon boats on docks. They don't have shore power. So yeah, that's not happening. I know Frankfurt's got crazy high water levels. Muskegon Lake is crazy high right now. That it floods that little byway. It's got the park in the middle of it. They have sandbags trying to hold that back so the river doesn't back up and fill the roadway right now. I go over there like once a month, so I'm like, holy crap, this is still up.
Right.
And I saw somewhere they said Lake St. Clair, this was during the wintertime, was 21 inches over what it was last year at that exact time.
Oh, I believe it.
Over last year.
And we're supposed to go a foot higher than last year.
That's trouble. Because we were fishing that team tournament out on St. Clair last summer, and we were in the river. First of all, it's flowing like 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Right.
But it's like we're pitching up to people's bonfire pits, and it's like 3 feet deep. It's like, that shouldn't be there.
Well, Frank's saying that shipping companies are running. They are definitely running. The problem is getting product because so many companies rely on the Asian part of the world for their product.
Yep.
There's a few that don't. Strike King's one. You guys are state made, so U.S. made. You can't beat that. But there's a lot of big brands that are going to be hurting here in the next month or so.
We'll start seeing the squeeze real soon because like our VMC hooks are out of France. And
coronavirus is kicking their ass right now.
Right. It's shutting them down.
It's getting worse.
Talked to them, and they said they are shipping them.
They're on target still with our order for 50,000.
We just want it on a boat as soon as possible.
Yep.
Well,
here's the thing is the monster bass, we've gotten to a point to where we could produce pretty dang quick, right? So, we could produce a monster bass order in 3 days, 4 days. You know what I mean? We're pretty quick now. So, that's one thing that we talked about. People are still ordering, and we're getting more retailers because it's like we control 100% of the process, right? The product comes in as a hook, and it goes out in a package as a jig,
Right.
right? We don't buy anything like we don't buy the lead and have it casted in China like a lot of companies do.
Right.
They don't want to touch that stuff.
Right.
They're not interested in that.
Well,
because
this just
it's labor
highlights.
intensive.
This just highlights why that trade war was so important as a country.
Oh yeah,
Really?
And it just brings it, just magnifies it.
really
Like this
does,
is worst case scenario.
Well, and
And
here's the thing, too.
Besides having a war, this is worst
Yeah.
case
Right.
scenario.
We've looked at like, okay, what's it cost to do, say to cast this stuff in China? And we've looked at it,
yep.
and the price when you include shipping and stuff,
By the time you guys get here, it's what,
not
5
that
cents
much
cheaper?
It's literally pennies cheaper, and it's
Yeah.
like at that point you just don't want to deal with the people it takes, to run a business.
Yeah.
And then
get
you have quality control issues that you have to
Right.
deal with, and you could
you have no idea what's coming.
I mean, you could have like a massive, 100,000 piece order, and it'll all be junk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then now
and,
what?
And yeah, what are you gonna do? It's China. They can go.
Yeah.
and-
Right. They
What do
don't
you
care.
want? Yeah, they don't care. They can.
Somewhere. You have no idea.
Well,
The good ones don't, but they can do
Right.
that.
Right.
Well, what is it like?
absolutely.
It was like 5 years ago. I don't know what they did, but the quality in China went up. They really worked on their quality.
Yep.
They put a lot of regulations in China and screwing other companies in America over. So their quality went up, but their price went kind of up too.
Well,
And now it's
not as-
manageable,
they're
right?
not
Now
as-
we compete with them.
Right.
Well, the funny part is that there is a few Japanese crankbait companies. I'm not going to say who they are that took their manufacturing to China and then packaged in Japan, so they can say made in Japan stuff.
Right.
Sure.
Yep.
They put the hooks on there. It's kind of like that whole rule of you're assembling here in the States. You still
Yeah.
say it's
Right.
American.
Exactly. Yeah,
Kind of the
we all
same
know
deal.
Yeah, we know the whole song and dance. Which
Yeah.
I mean, we used to do that, right? We
Yep.
used to do that. I used to buy it from somebody else, and we'd put it together, and then we're like, "This is goofy,
Yeah. It's
man."
well,
Like,
if we're gonna do this,
I
let's
get it
do
because there's a lot of companies. What they do is they don't even have they just have a warehouse and they got boxes of products stacked up,
comes
and
in,
they don't
ship it out.
do anything. It comes in. Their tackle company is just an office.
Yeah,
Right.
they slap the hooks on, throw it in the
They
packaging.
slap
and
a
away it
decal
goes.
on the box.
Three
they scan
guys
a
can do
barcode.
it all day long.
Yep.
And that's it.
And that is why I like companies like Duo. They do everything 100%. They're
Yeah.
making copper. They're making copper blanks by hand carving them out of copper for all their stuff. It's incredible watching the
Yeah.
artistry
I
that
did
they
see a
have.
couple of their videos. I did see a couple
Yeah,
of their
it's
videos
pretty
how they
cool.
produce.
It's pretty
And that
cool.
I like
Crazy.
supporting companies like that. That like you guys like them that literally are building it with their hands
Right.
Yep.
instead of going, "Hey, we got a drawing. Can you make that?"
Sure.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly. And that's what-
Or hey, copy this, and it's going to 3D scan it and then print it
Yeah,
out and say,
done
"Does that
deal.
work?" And then they make a mold off of it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Happens all the time.
I like companies that literally are making it with their own hands.
Oh, absolutely. And
You know,
it's not sexy work. Right? You're not going to win an award for
No.
most used, manufacturing tackle company.
Casting machine.
I mean, maybe there's a award. I don't know. Hell, I don't know. But-
Great one.
But it's like it's not attractive when you come into the industry to try to do it all yourself, right? So that's why we had talked about spinning off a couple of times because we know processes. We've done processes.
Our whole
Working
lives.
at Ford Motor
Yeah.
Company our whole lives. We know process, right?
Right.
So that gives us the ability to produce these things. And we talked about multiple times spinning off how we do things and manufacturing for other people, which may happen in the future.
Right.
so are
Let's
you
talk.
guys 100% spin cast now, or are you guys still doing some
100%.
hand pouring stuff?
All the
No,
way.
you know what? Honestly, we've never hand poured.
No.
Really?
We
Never.
went from drilling holes in wood to try to come up with like a mold or something to like, okay, this looks good enough. Then we actually sent it over to a place over on the other side of the state in White Cloud, and he would manufacture it for us. We never manufactured in China. We always
always
manufactured in
been with us.
Michigan. And then once he got that going, then we're like, okay, well, let's learn that process. Then we learned that process, and we're like, now we're going to do it, right?
Right.
Because we're like controlling, I guess you would say.
Right.
We want to control
We wanna do
everything.
everything.
So if there's something wrong, we can handle
Yeah.
it quickly.
So like the other day, I got an email about his Ned hook was loose in the head, and it's like, no problem. You know what? Our fault. Get your new pack out tomorrow.
Sure.
Because it's like that's our fault, right? I don't
Yeah.
have to think about China or anything
It
else.
slipped
Yeah.
through in the mad dash to package.
Right.
Right. That's about it.
We got a bunch of new people that's come in and we're hiring and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, stuff's gonna get out. No big deal. We'll replace
That's just
it.
growing
And
pains.
that's
It happens. As long as
Yeah,
you
we've
catch it early
never
enough.
we've never hand poured anything. No,
No.
I mean
He bought the casting machine. He was still in the garage.
and then I broke it.
Then he broke it.
And then I
But
broke
before that, it's like
Those
it's
aren't
sitting there and
cheap.
it's like,
Those are
now
not
what do
cheap
we do with this
machines.
thing? It's like, I don't know how to use this. It's like, well, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
That's
So-
basically what we did.
How many cavities does your guys' machine run?
So we just are. It's one spin. We have
Yeah.
just
On your
one right
pies,
now.
yeah.
We're,
Right
we're
now,
looking at getting
yeah.
two.
Yeah.
So our molds, like our Ned molds, are anywhere from
14,
12
14,
12 to 14
depending on
per
size.
mold,
Yeah.
depending on the size. And then like our flipping jigs have like 10, I think 8
Yeah.
to 10.
8 to 10. Yeah.
And then our next series have like 8 to 10,
Yeah.
somewhere in there. So usually on Ned, every time you spin the mold, like you get like 4 packs.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking about going from a 9-inch mold to a 12 mold.
Yeah.
Well,
So
the nice thing about spin casting is consistency of the head itself, which
Right.
is
Yeah.
nice. Versus hand
Yeah.
pour, if the mold's not warmed up enough, you can get that little air pocket or the creases.
Yeah.
it happens in spin casting
does
too.
happen, yep.
You got to warm up the mold.
Yep.
You got to spin it 3 or 4 times, get it warm, and then you got to make sure you're working in series, right? You don't want to run that one back to back. You want to run it, let it cool, rotate the molds, because a lot of times we're running 2 or 3 molds at the same time.
Right.
So you got to make sure you series them, and if that series gets off, you'll get like a miss.
It'll start
You
messing
get like a
up.
miscast.
Yeah, what happened?
And
It's
like half the head will
it's out of
cast, and
order.
then
Yeah.
now you
So-
start creating waste.
So you guys have 2 guys running, one guy prepping the pies, one guy running the machine. Then is that what you're running?
It's kind of
That's
a mixed pot.
That's
yeah.
mainly the thing. The other day we had one guy running the machine, and I think there's
4 people running
5
molds.
people. 5
5
people
people
running
load
molds.
molds.
we
So-
just all jumped in. It's like, let's see how many we can do. Let's go.
So for the people on here thinking that it's a simple process, you got up to 4 or 5 people making one jig head,
One, yeah, right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's not simple.
Well, what
and
we
that's
do
not
also
talking
is-
paint and all
Yeah,
that too.
yeah, we haven't even got to that. Yeah,
Well, what we do a lot of times though is we take multiple purchase orders, right? And we're running purchase order in series with other things, right? So you'll have like him and another guy running Ned's, and then her and her are running next pitch and swims or
Right.
flipping jigs. So like, and a lot of this stuff runs on different pressures at different speeds.
right.
So like when you grab the mold, you put it in and you're looking at it, you got to make sure you know what it is.
Yeah.
You adjust the pressure, pour it, pull it out, grab the other one, adjust the pressure, right? So the guy who's actually pouring it into the machine, he's got to pay attention.
He's
to
got
what's
to really
going
know
on.
what's going on. The other people can just sit there and load.
Yeah.
That guy needs to know.
So we'll run like
what he's
4
doing.
different products at once or 3
Yeah.
different products at
Nice.
once.
So what month are we going into Monster Bass box? What was it?
It is April.
April, right? Or May?
May. It'll be the May
It'll
box.
be May.
It'll be the May box.
Yeah.
Please say you're in the Midwest box, because that means I got 2 things I'm excited for in the box. Then.
Honestly, I don't know what
Yeah.
box we're going to be in.
They never tell
No.
us what
No,
box.
they
they're
just
gonna
tell
be
us we need
Yeah.
X amount of thousands.
in. We
and
never
we'll send
know.
them.
We
I
never
know-
know what it's going to be.
I know. Rick's been messaging me. He's like, "Hey, we need to talk. I'm like, "I'm available. I'm stuck at home too."
Right,
Yeah.
I got
Just call
nothing
me.
to do but talk.
But he's
Please
also,
talk to me.
But he's also probably scrambling to make sure he gets product,
Right.
in to
I
him
mean,
right now.
you know what the squeeze is coming. You know, people are going to start running out of stuff real soon, and I think we've set ourselves up
Pretty
to
good.
where it shouldn't. Nothing should affect us.
It'll start to get close. It's going to get scary,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Because
gonna
it's
get a
the
little
way
close.
everything is right now. It's going to get scary, but
Our
I
Ned
think
Hooks
we're
should
gonna
have
be
shipped
okay.
already a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago, and so I kind of like. Ooh,
Well,
ooh.
I've actually seen a video of the VMC factory making hooks. I think it was like
Right.
how it's made or something on Discovery years ago.
okay.
That's
It's
awesome.
pretty automated, actually. There's not
Yeah.
a ton of people that need to touch and handle it.
Yep.
So they can run on a very skeleton crew and still
That's
produce.
Yeah,
So, I mean, they
Good
still,
news for us.
but as long as their quality control's on point, you guys should be good.
right.
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
nothing
we've
like
had
getting a whole
issues
bunch
where-
without hook points.
Well, we've had issues where, like, a long time ago, where you'd have some that would come in that weren't tempered right. It was,
JC got some.
it wasn't.
Right.
It was sitting in the
Yeah.
bottom of their carrier or something like
Mhm.
that, and it didn't get tempered right. But that's what happens, right? Whenever you mass produce a lot of things get missed, right? Because when you're running at a speed of like
You're just
200-300 an hour or
Right.
whatever it be, you're going to miss things, right? But
Yeah.
as long as I always tell Jim, it's opportunity for good customer service, right? So
Yep.
if something bad happens and
No
you're able
problem.
to say, hey, I'm going to ship you 2 packs or
Right.
1 pack or whatever
Yep.
it be, it's just an opportunity to be like, we're human beings.
Right. We make mistakes.
We make mistakes. We're gonna make it good on it, right?
I think,
we make mistakes when a few get out. Wait, you should see what we make mistakes here.
Yeah.
Well, I think that day when I had that one fail, I was still on the water, and you guys already wrote back, "Hey, we'll send you more." I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm just letting you know you guys got
Right.
you
Yeah, I
know,
remember
some
that.
tempering issue.
Yeah.
You know, it's just hey, just heads up."
Yeah, there was a
I-
small window there where it was like hooks were breaking all over,
Yep.
and we're like,
Yeah,
Well,
we had like
"What's going on?"
we did a few
We were-
people hit us up
Right,
like,
we were not ready for that. It was just
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? What's going on?
But you guys handled it the correct way, which is we'll send you
Sure.
more. Sorry, it
That's
happened. You
There you
know,
go.
but I'm in the industry, so I knew exactly what happened from the get go because you could literally see it a little bit in the coating. It was a little
Right.
off when you got it in the sunlight and you fished a little bit. You get a little bit of water on
Right.
it. You can kind of see it. So I
sure.
was like, oh, it's just bad temper. It's not nothing you guys did. It's just the
Right.
supplier.
Yeah, when you're sitting
Yeah.
here running them, you're just loading them. You're not even looking.
Right.
It's like
No.
you're just going.
And then
It
once it
happens.
gets painted over towards the neck of the hook.
Right.
You don't
It's like,
see
I
it.
don't know what's
So.
going on. Yeah.
So what is your guys' favorite Ned plastic? You have to have one favorite. You can't say all of them. Just give me one.
Put us
Each
in a
of you.
weird
Which
spot
one?
You
now.
put us in a weird spot. Right? You really put us in a spot.
We're going into an hour, so you know those companies aren't watching anymore. You can
That's
you
true.
can,
That's
you can
a good
spill your
point.
beans.
They're all
So, I don't want to talk about the Z company. Don't want to talk about those. I'm gonna go.
But I do like them.
I'm gonna go with the X Zone Deadzone.
It looks really good.
It
The
looks
Deadzone's
really
really
good
good.
underwater because it's got that ball of plastic at the end,
Yeah.
right? It
I
Now,
haven't used
squeezees
one yet,
into a
but I
ball
really want to try
and
it.
it able to
I
move
got to
around.
approach it for everybody on that Ned from X Zone. 4 ribs come out. At 4 ribs come out, it sits perfectly every time.
Oh, really?
Four
ribs.
4 ribs.
What?
4 ribs?
Cut
Yeah.
it out? Cut
No.
off 4 ribs?
No, go
It's
in.
got the ribs on.
The hook point goes in, 4 ribs, then come out. It will sit
Oh,
perfectly.
for the Ned?
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll fit perfectly in the Z
Yeah,
bend
one
every
here
time.
somewhere.
For an EDWG? Perfect. All right,
Yeah.
4 ribs.
Yep,
You
4
heard
ribs.
it first. You know what? I think I got one. I'm going to test this.
I know
today.
it's here somewhere.
And I
4
think
ribs.
that one will do the same exact thing. I just haven't done it yet.
Okay, what is
Okay.
that? You
Yum.
know, I seen that one too. That's a
haven't
really
used
nice
it.
one, the Yum one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually kind of unique. They're not doing buoyant plastic, but they made a hollow section to catch the air to flip the tail up. So that's interesting.
Oh, okay.
That's very, very unique and different. So I'm looking forward to trying that one. So what's your favorite?
I have a new one that I really want to try, and it's from Bass Reaper Baits, and I've never used them before. And when I got them, I ordered some just to try to check them out, and I kind of got them out and was messing with them. I'm like, these might be really, really good.
You said
And
Bass Reaper's
Bass
got a new Ned
Reaper
one?
Bait. Yep.
I need to
And
look
can't
that
even
up
think of
now.
the name what the Ned. I'm
I think
supposed
it's
to bring
called
them in and
I
show
think
you.
it's
and I
called
keep forgetting.
a blunt or something.
Yeah, the blunt.
The blunt.
Yeah.
The blunt.
Well, we know what they like to
Actually-
do in their spare time, don't we?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Have a little fun. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was
Got
actually impressed. Like I was like, all right, cool. We've been talking like on Twitter and stuff like that. I was like, let me try some out. I like supporting different people. So there it is. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're actually, man, they're pretty nice.
It's and no offense to them,
I
but
haven't tried them yet.
they're pretty much they're just like the Z-Man.
It's very much like the Z-Man.
the
It
Z-Man
looks-
style.
It looks like the bumps are a little more
Right. I like
exaggerated.
their color. You know what colors though I do like that we haven't tried is that what's the Pete's Trout? What is it?
Oh, Peter Custom Trout Worms.
Oh man,
Yeah, he sent us some of
Oh,
those.
yeah.
his colors are on.
Have you seen those?
Freaking-
Yeah, I have. Those are sick. I want to
They
get
are
some
so
for bed
good.
fishing.
I don't know if they're any good, but man, his colors are so good.
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Let me see if I can find him really quick. Hold on.
His color. We were messing around with them in here one day, and I was like, my goodness.
Yeah, they
these
look
things
really
look
good.
What the heck's his website? Peter.
Peter Custom Trout Worms,
Is
I
that
think
what
it's
it is?
called.
Yeah, I think so.
He's got some off the wall worm colors, and I believe he's got some core shot stuff too, which is cool.
Technical difficulty.
Oh, technically we're back.
Did I lose you guys? Oh, yeah.
For some reason, this thing just kind of shot out at us real quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a little bit of lag.
There you go. There we're back.
Yeah, we hit a button.
I love it. Their website says bass food.
Right. Right. I really want to try some of those because
Yeah, that's that zombie color or whatever it is. Oh,
Yeah, look
Their
at those
colors
things.
are
That core shot is just
Easy, the
sick.
core shot, yes.
Yeah.
I really want to try some of those.
I mean, it's not a special shape, but the colors are that right there. This guy right here is
Look
what I
at
want.
Got some of
His colors are the best I've ever seen in a plastic, I think.
For
really
bed.
do.
Got
No, there,
some of them right here.
Yeah,
Here's
we
one of
do
them right
have
there.
some. Yeah.
there is a
This is,
guy.
bubble gum core shot.
There's a guy named Keith. He can't make baits anymore because his hands are failing him. But he was the one that started the Candy Plastic Micro Spoons and Jigs company, and he started that whole high end soft plastic deal, like super detailed, crazy. He should have been charging way more than what he was for what he was doing, because the amount of you hand those colors to a bass guy, he goes, "There's no way I'm doing that for less than $12 for 6." Because the amount of work he's using a syringe to inject the color and the bloodlines in by hand, like he was doing this the hard way.
Thank you.
But they were amazing quality. And this guy here, he's just using a core shot mold.
Yeah.
But
He does really good on his colors, man.
the way he's doing his colors, he's got a great eye for it.
Yes,
And
exactly.
that's
You can tell the people who have really a good eye for what they're doing.
Yep.
And it's like, yep.
I tell you what, if you're a saltwater angler, that color right there is money for redfish and trout.
I know nothing about the saltwater.
I know nothing about it. I know
saltwater EWG, just saying. Product idea. I want 10-cent royally.
It's crazy how
we get a lot of guys who they ask us to powder coat up almost all the way up to the hook point,
so they can use it.
Because it lasts better in the salt water.
And so I don't know what they're catching. They show us pictures. It's weird looking fish, but they're killing them on it.
Yeah.
Well, you could take like a fluke and put it on that for chasing reds and trout and flounder. That's perfect.
Right.
And especially with that bigger hook, you can go fish that 5-inch fluke then.
Yeah.
On that. So that'd be perfect.
That's why a lot of people are asking us for that bigger hook, is because they want to be able to use it for bigger worms.
Yeah.
Well,
they want that stand-up profile, but they don't want it to be stuck in rock and stuff.
As long as you're using a black nickel hook, you should be okay. You could always do like a saltwater edition.
Yeah.
Leave it unpainted, but clear it all the way up to the barb. Just tape it and do a deep dip.
Yeah.
And just let them know, hey, you might have some paint there. You might need to file off.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm taking my shoes off, Jim.
That's weird.
I'm taking my shoes off. I don't even care.
No,
We're on YouTube Live or JC Dropshot, and I've got my shoes off.
So where can everybody find you guys besides your website, which is Lifted Jigs? We all know that. But you guys do a ton of social media work.
Yeah.
I'm a little envious of it. I wish I had more time to do it myself, but I don't.
Well, when we started the company, there's a lot of competition in Michigan for jig fishing.
Yes to that question. But anyways.
just in jig fishing, right? But we grew it out socially, right? And then we started selling online, and social media was a way to drive traffic to all of our brick and mortar retailers, right? So when you talk about like places we sell, like Fisherman Central, Tackle Warehouse, we sell at the bait shop here in Michigan. We sell in Jay's. We out in the West Coast to Three Rivers, down south in Alabama, Sports Shop Outdoors. I'm missing a bunch of people, but I mean, social media has kind of driven our sales because we kind of become our own influencer, I would say, right? So that we can use that traffic to be like, as we acquire this retailer, we can grow their social media and grow their customer base at the same time.
Yeah. It's like, hey guys, go here.
Yeah.
If you want our stuff, go here.
Yeah. Simple as that.
Those people in that area. It's just, and it's just been fun, right? It's just been fun. It's such a great way just to meet people. Like we go to the Classic and there's all these people who, we've talked to on Instagram or whatever. And it's like, hey,
I finally get to see him in person.
Name. It's kind of weird, but it's like, oh, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. It's been so much fun.
I'm hoping that those few people I gave your name to will be ordering soon for you guys.
Yeah.
Those stores definitely need to have your product. So
yeah, no, absolutely, because they're still in like a walleye season, right? So once that walleye season starts to trickle out, it's going to get worse. I mean, we got a bunch of retail orders sitting out there about to go out.
We got a table full.
Big shout out to UK. We got 2 new retailers in UK. We got our new retailer in South Korea, right? Like We're global now.
I guess.
We're
We're
going
I
everywhere.
know they have
There
fish
you
in
go.
South Korea, but here we are.
So you brought up walleye. Any plans? Because there's so
Why you gotta
much
talk about
opportunity.
Enough of you.
We gotta talk about this stuff.
Well, is there plans?
Well, it would be weird to be a jig company in Michigan and not have walleye stuff, right?
Yeah.
That'd
You
be
know
weird.
what? So me and Jib had talked about it the other day. I think we're gonna dip our toe more into tube jigs first. We're gonna try to grow to be one of the largest distributors of tube jigs for Michigan, right? Because we know there's a need for tube jigs in Michigan. Huge selling point for tube
Not
jigs.
enough of them around when the season
There's
hits.
not enough of them.
Never enough around.
And I'm telling you, there's one thing. It's weird. We've gone to some shops over on the St Clair side, and we look, and they don't have any drop shots if we're in a pinch. It's like, how do you not have
how
drop
is this
shot
even
weights?
possible?
Now, speaking of St. Clair, I don't get that. The shop I used to work at, it was like pulling teeth trying to keep it in stock. And
Right.
I know.
Right.
So we walk in. and
I'm
there's opportunity.
amazed. I'm amazed at how many shops hate on bass fishermen still on St. Clair.
It's just unbelievable to me. It makes no sense.
Low key hate on it. Like, oh, we're just gonna carry tubes and poor boys, and that's it. It's like,
That's
really? There's
It's like,
so
do you
much
see,
good stuff
like
out
all the
there.
bass boats that are driving past here every morning. You
Yeah.
see those?
Well, the thing is that like the spy baiting thing and now net rigging,
Right.
you can't keep that stuff in stock
You can't.
No.
at all.
You
Like you
can't.
could just order as much as you can order,
Right.
that you
Just
can
keep it
afford
coming.
for that week, and just keep going because
Yeah.
it's going to be gone the next week. You're
will
doing it
sell
again.
out every single time, and it
It's
blows my mind.
incredible.
It's like these people, they get stuck on walleye and muskie, and it's like, well, that's what we sell. Tough.
And
like,
they're forgetting the number one sport fish in Michigan right now.
It's like, I promise you there's more bass fishing.
Hey,
I promise you.
bass fishing will pay the bills,
Right.
right?
Right.
If you just dive into bass fishing and you're blatant about it, like we sell bass tackle,
Yeah.
people are going to come, right?
Yep.
Even if you're
That's it.
you fish off the bank, you're going to stop in there. If you see the name Lifted Jigs out there, if you see the name Striking out there, right?
It's like,
You're like,
they
oh
sell
wow,
bass
they sell
stuff.
that.
Cool.
Okay,
Let me
I'm
go
going to
check
stop
them out.
there. I've
Yep.
seen them or know that guy.
Yeah.
Or, they're just going to come in general if they know you sell bass tackle.
Yeah. It
Like
just,
the BP or by 9 Mile launch, right? That was the place we couldn't get drop shot weights in. We're like,
right.
what the hell's wrong with this?
Like,
place?
The new owners are just gas station people. They don't care.
Yeah.
Oh,
they're not
Where
interested.
where the old owner, what was her name? I want to say Kim. Might be
I
wrong.
don't know.
But when she had a really good fishing tackle section in there and
Yeah.
kept it pretty local. She had like extreme bass tackle in there.
Right.
Great tube. It carried at that time what was hot, and then she sold it, and it sucks. It sucks now.
Talk about a prime location too. My goodness.
Well, there's rumor that ramp might not be open this year.
No.
Well, remember it was always closed to the public unless you're a resident.
You had to be.
And
And
then
then
they-
they reopened it up to everybody.
And they had different rates for different states, which was interesting. If you're Michigan or
right.
Ohio, you got cheaper. Anybody else, you paid
It's
premium
like,
dollar.
that makes no sense whatsoever.
And I honestly, I don't think that was the city. I think that was who was working the booth. I'm not.
I got
I'm
you.
not saying.
Put a couple extra doll hairs in
Yeah,
the pocket.
like, you know,
I'm not saying, but I'm
think
saying
a couple
something was
extra
fishy occasionally.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I,
Would not
I,
doubt
I,
it.
I heard it from enough customers when I worked in a tackle store that it,
Right.
it did not sound right to me.
The guy must have been a smart guy.
Had
Been get a couple beer,
a little
some
hustle
beer
going
money,
on.
a little beer money later on in the day.
If he never got caught and they can never prove it, then kudos,
Right,
I guess.
well,
You know, it's the
Listen,
American way,
pictures
right?
Didn't happen.
Right.
Pictures are never happened.
And he just
Well,
sit back and
there's-
laugh at everybody taking that long walk down that ramp.
Oh, that's obnoxious. That's the only thing. Besides it being that weird, shallow,
Yeah,
like
yeah, I know.
Metro Park style ramp, yeah,
Ugh,
not a fan
doesn't
of that.
work real well.
Yeah, you got to drive your whole truck into the water for it to float off of the boat,
Yep.
the boat off the trailer.
Oh yeah, and it barely floats off.
Yeah, it's tricky.
But rumor
to go
is
back to
that's
to go
gonna be
back to
closed down.
like walleye stuff real quickly. I'm not a huge walleye angler, but I understand there's a need in it. If we could put a good spin on a couple products, which I've already done a couple things I'd like to do,
right,
we'll probably get into it. I
got
mean,
to.
we want to get into everything.
I think there's a place for a premium, easy to get walleye
Yes.
jig. There is a place for it.
Yeah,
I do too.
The round ball powder coated for 80 cents That's the bread and butter. But there is
Bread
a
and
premium market available. St. Clair River is probably one of the low-key places for that premium market that most people aren't aware of. Those shore guys will spend $5 on one jig head if it's the hot color. You could go down there and just have somebody catch fish in that color, and you can sit there and sell them $5 a pop. Everybody in the wall buy them.
That's it. Everybody's jumping right on that bandwagon. Like, I'm doing it
on the spot, and it goes rampant. So
yeah, it just depends, right? Because this company's getting so much bigger, so much faster than it
can only
did the
do so
last
much.
previous years.
Things are happening so
So it's
fast.
like-
It's hard to.
It's so hard to
Like, we
kind
got
of
a
do
million
that.
different ideas we want to do, and it's like,
well, doing the walleye jig thing, that's a very labor-intensive project right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you have to be innovating on colors. You have to keep the staples. You have to have your network set up and be in the stores. I mean, you can do a lot online, through March and April. But once they get fishing, mid-April, May, the stores are where the bulk of your business is going to be.
Right.
The online shuts down. I've seen that firsthand. I know how that rhythm works.
Right.
So,
Well, what I've seen in talking to some people, retailers, is we want to start. We may not jump into the industry of walleye and be like, we're the walleye kings. Look at us, start a walleye Instagram or something. That's probably not going to happen. But what I could do is I could see maybe helping out these retailers who pour their own lead, be able to get them what they need quicker, right? Because
we've got a lot of them contact us.
So you're talking more of like OEM side of things?
Just trying to go back to remember like the old Gander style. You'd walk in and they'd have piles of stuff there for them. Maybe be our brand, which would be a spinoff of us. But it would be like, go in and it costs them X amount of money to hand pour it and paint it, and it takes up a section of their house. When you can go in there and do it for maybe 5-6 cents more, and then they don't have to deal with it, right? So that's what
we've talked to a couple
about
retailers who are like, I just don't want to deal with this no more.
Well,
I don't know where to go to get it done.
And that also makes the excise tax thing easier for them too, when they're not having to be the producer as well.
Right, because we're paying it.
Yeah.
And that's something that a ton of people that are outside of the business side have no idea what excise tax is.
Correct.
I didn't.
And I do want to touch on it a little bit, because this is something I like to kind of share with guys, is that excise tax is not a government tax because the man wants it. It's a tax that us fishermen put on our product long time ago to fund access, research, hatchery work. So if a company is out there selling and not paying excise tax, they're stealing from you, the angler that they're selling to.
Right. Right.
And it hurts the industry.
It's one of the few taxes where it's like, all right, cool. Yeah. It's a good thing.
Yeah, that 10% sucks. Ain't gonna lie. But that 10% funds so much in the state of Michigan and all over the country. It's why the national park system is as strong as it is. The wildlife network that we have, in a hunting side, the marshes everybody hunts, and all the state land, forest lands we got. Dude. That's why we still have it, is because we put a 10% tax on our gear. Yep. So that, and all that 10% goes into funding that. And that's something that I wish more anglers knew and understood, and why these basement bandits are the vein of the industry.
You know what it is? Excise tax needs a better publicist. We're just not doing a good job at
excise tax is the worst name in the world. It should be.
It's like, I don't even know what that means.
They need their own Instagram page. We need to do an Instagram page for them.
And the worst part is that the industry writers that have wrote about it have done a terrible job of they just don't call out the people that do it wrong. They try to be too PC and nice because they're afraid to get sued. Well, I'm not afraid to get sued. I'm not going to say your name, but if you're on Facebook only and you don't even have a website, odds are you ain't paying your excise tax.
Right. I know what you're doing.
And I know that they get reported by not me, but plenty of other companies.
Good. I'm glad.
Well,
it hurts us all.
Well, they put a big stop on those. Like, remember they did the big halt on Facebook for like the give, or what, not giveaways, but like the raffles and they did all the auctions and stuff. So I mean, because it got wild.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It was the Wild West out there.
Well, it still happens, but only on private groups where they're not open to the public.
Exactly. It's all done, under
until PayPal shuts it down. It's not going away.
It has to get shut down now.
And it's not big enough for PayPal to shut it down, because being able to send friends and family money when they're out of the country or something, it's cheaper to use PayPal than Western Union. That's
all there is to it.
And it's not like you're doing illegal dog fighting or something like that, to where they got to investigate. They're kind of like whatever.
Yeah.
But just for walleye, I mean, we want to do some stuff with that. I mean, we talked about a lot of other things, and the thing is we're so in depth with this company that like we got to put everything into this right now, right? So until we kind of hit that next level, which we're working day in, day out, just to get it up to that next level.
Right.
Once we hit that, we can kind of sit back and go, okay,
now
let's do this, and
we can
this.
do that. Yeah.
So I'm very excited that you guys finally did this.
The bubble gum.
Yes.
There was a lot of fight over that thing. There was a lot of.
You wouldn't
Listen, I don't want to go over it.
You wouldn't think a color could cause controversy, and it did.
My goodness.
Oh,
that color.
You know what? That was Lindsay's fault too.
That was.
I love it. Between this and the white, that's probably all I'm going to fish this next year. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
Good.
I can't wait to get the bubble gum
for smallmouth. I mean, all day.
It pisses them off. It's easy.
Oh, all day. They're like, this thing has to die.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah.
That bubblegum, methylate, those two colors just piss smallmouth off.
Yeah. They just
So
get angry.
can we just put this to bed real quickly? I don't know if anybody is involved with this debate, this issue going on. That color, Justin, the color of that pink in the industry, for how long has that been called bubblegum? How long?
Bubblegum is bubblegum, methylate is methylate.
Right.
But
Yes.
how long have people called it bubblegum?
Let's see, Sluggo called it bubblegum back in the 70s.
Right.
Cream called it bubblegum because
I forgot about
you got
that.
Hubba Bubba and all that, basic pink bubblegum.
Yes.
It is the color. It's bubblegum. It's been that forever. Hot pink is not bubblegum. Bubblegum is bubblegum.
Exactly.
Hot pink is different. And there's
That's where the trouble lied.
de-icer is not bubblegum.
No.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is a candy pink color, kind of like your washer fluid stuff or your transmission fluid. So,
Holy cow.
And the thing is, there's good bubblegum and there's bad bubblegum.
Yeah.
Right.
That's good bubblegum.
Right.
Some are too white and pale, and it's like, did you even try to put pigment in that white color or not?
Not good enough. Right.
No, exactly. You got to have it.
Right.
So
we had to call it bubblegum.
So we had to call it bubblegum. That was
that's
one of the
not
decisions.
that's not bubblegum.
That's not bubblegum.
I have no idea what that note is on there. Oh no,
right.
That was somebody's phone number. That's not bubblegum.
Call that guy for some bubblegum.
Right. He's gonna be like, "What the hell? Why is everybody calling me?"
No, that's actually a customer.
That's funny.
But yeah, so there was a big debate with that color. So it was crazy. I don't want to get into it, but it was a meltdown.
We had to overrule that. No, it has to be called bubblegum.
You want to know what's really funny?
It is.
A lot of people up here in the Midwest don't realize how popular the bubblegum super fluke is nationally.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
It is one of the best selling soft plastic jerk baits for 2 months out of the year. And the amount it sells is insane how many it sells in that 2 months. Now, I did just pick up some pearl chartreuse. I'm talking electric pearl chartreuse. Dude, these things are freaking bright. So I'm looking forward to trying those.
Who was that, from Zoom?
Yeah, Zoom. It was a pearl chartreuse, and this batch was red hot, dude.
Can you bring it up? I want to see it. I've never seen it. Can you pop it up on the screen?
Let me see if I can find it online, but I got them down in the basement.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've seen it.
Well, they don't make the junior in the the Super Fluke Junior in the bubble gum, and it irritates the crap out of me.
Right.
Because I really want a junior, and I don't want to be that guy, but I'm close to being that guy where I make my own silicone mold.
Right. It's like, listen, I need this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So the Zoom bubble gum is this guy.
Yes.
All right. Right now, I want to give a shout out to Billy Katowski. He's at home, and now this is his personal massager. He loves these flukes. We talked about calling his baby fluke.
Yeah, I call his daughter. Her name is Baby Fluke.
I'm a huge fan of these. From like right now for fishing spawning northerns on the Great Lakes, they're killer.
Oh, yeah.
There's times that there's certain inland lakes near me that I've done many videos on there'll be guys fishing Senkos and struggling to get bit. I pitched this, and they're charging 20+ yards to come eat the damn thing. They're like, "What are you using? A fluke?" What the hell's a fluke? I'm like, that? It's been around forever, longer than the Senko.
Hey, you ever rigged that on a Ned?
The junior I have, not the big one, because I need that bigger hook to rig that 5-inch.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But have you had success throwing it with a junior?
Yeah, there was a day I ran out of certain Ned colored plastic and just threw that on instead because it was the same color. It was
it's like close enough.
It was same color, and I don't think shape mattered when they're on the bed. They're pissed off at everything.
Right?
So.
Yeah, sure. They're just killing.
Yeah. Now, there's some sweet colors that are not on here that are only available through a national distributor, not mine, unfortunately. So I'm not going to plug them, even though I got friends over there. I'm not going to plug them. But there's some pretty badass colors and flukes that would change people's opinion of that bait that haven't really fished it.
Oh.
There's some sweet stuff you can do. I know you can drop shot it. A lot of guys drop shot it. It's getting hot.
Yeah.
I got 4 computers.
Drop shot a ton.
I mean, that's the cool thing about the fluke is like, man, that's
well, I remember
that's versatile.
A long time ago I did really well with back when Strike King did the Z2s. Remember the old Z2s?
They still do.
Do they still do the Z2s? I thought they sold that.
No, they still have the license to it through Z-Man.
Okay.
Oh,
that's what I thought.
It's only like 6 or 8 colors, I think.
Yeah.
Jordan Lee, when he did the Zona Live out here, crushed fish for 2 days on the strike on that bait out here, drop shotting it right off of Lance Cruz Bay, out in front of the 400 tower.
That was
stupid.
Lake Huron, right?
No, that was Lake St Clair when the Bassmaster Elite guys were here 3-4 years ago.
Yeah. No, I was thinking of Zaldane, I think, was with them up.
Zaldane. Yes.
Yeah.
The mustache man.
Yeah. No, but Lee went out there and they went around and did that again on Zona Live, and he hooked into a sturgeon.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
On Zona Live. It was an hour of Zona Live, him fighting a sturgeon. And I'm sitting there texting Zona thinking he would be able to see it, or his producer would see his cell phone. And I'm like, rope that tail. And they're trying to net damn thing, and there's like guys handing nets and stuff. It was comical. I was like, you're not netting a 6-foot fish. Oh, that was awesome, dude. It was like the highlight because we had it running.
I seen the Alpina one, but that was it.
Yeah, we had that after that event because we had, when I was working in the shop, SDI there, we had so many elite guys and FLW guys. We had the same 12 or 18 guys that always came, and then we would get more every year that would start coming in. But we were sitting there watching it and having it live streamed inside the store.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
I don't know if John knew that, but we were watching that for a good hour.
You don't know, it doesn't hurt him.
Yeah.
Well, that brings up a good question. What do you think is going on in the industry right now for fishing? I see MLF is still fishing, FLW is back fishing, but Bassmaster's not. What does that do for you?
For my bottom line, nothing, because they're not up north yet. Right. I mean, if you don't have people at the weigh-in, there's no harm in running a tournament. The way I look at it,
that's what I see it
because you can make sure people are at the meeting spread out. I mean, I've fished a Bassmaster North Open, and that banquet hall they used for the freaking tournament, meeting was 3 times bigger than they needed.
Right.
I mean, you can always do WebEx too. You can do meetings through WebEx
you got to get everybody on board at the same time. That's hard. It's easier to do it in person, and then you don't need people sharing a link that doesn't need to hear what's being said.
Right.
So I don't think they're going to ever do like a virtual meeting.
Gotcha.
It's going to get shared to somebody.
Everybody, you know what? Everybody's so worried about other people hearing it. It's like, they hear it anyways because people tell people, right?
Well, the thing is, though, when you don't broadcast it, certain things get asked, and some of those pros probably don't want how they speak freely outside of sponsored gigs out there sometimes.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm glad you say that. Some are big advocates of just saying what you want because if that's who you are, that's just who you are. Let it be.
Gary Vee it up.
think about Gary Vee, but think about Mike Iaconelli, right? Look how much publicity he's had.
Right.
Love him, hate him. He just
Doesn't matter. You know his name.
doesn't matter.
DT6 in your face. Everything is
Right.
in your face. Everything's a
Right.
giant, even
But
though
it's
it's
like-
not. He was built for Major League Fishing. Like
Right.
his
That's
personality is
absolutely-
perfect for it
Yeah.
because he can make a 1-pounder exciting, okay, for
Right.
about 10
Right.
seconds. You're
That's
like,
his
oh, great.
brand,
no.
right?
Well, the thing
That's
is
what he's done.
the
It's
thing
smart.
is he,
But it's his passion though too, so it's awesome.
True,
but he
absolutely.
says what he wants in front of people, and he says the same thing
pisses
but
people off.
behind people, right? He's
Yep.
saying the same thing. Problem is you get some of these anglers who are like cut and dry, and they're like real nice in front of everybody, and then behind the scenes they're scumbags and they're taking people's spots,
Right.
right? They're stealing their products and all this stuff, and it's like, just be that guy. If that's the guy you want to be, just be that guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The thing is, like, inauthenticity, you just see through it anymore. We're too smart
Yeah.
for that now. It
Well,
just doesn't work anymore. It just comes off as
Social media
disgusting.
shows it off really quick.
That's it.
Absolutely.
that's it. You can't hide anymore. And
Yeah.
so when you see people still trying to do it, it just makes me laugh. It really
Yeah.
does.
Because I don't think I never say anything behind the scenes that we don't say
Not
in
really.
Instagram posts, right? Somebody
Nope.
tell us we suck on Instagram, and it's like, oh, well,
Yeah. I'll come back at you.
I
How
guess
about
we
that?
suck.
Let me go
Well,
on
it's
your
like-
stuff.
The funny part is that I have a few people, I'm not going to say who they are, that just love to like try to start drama and hate. I'm sure you guys got a few that are from other companies that are pro staffers
Whatever.
that try to start shit. It happens.
Yeah.
But if you are that miserable a person that you got to feel the need to go tear somebody else down to make
That's
yourself
it.
feel
What are you
better,
doing with your life, man?
I just feel sorry for you, buddy. I'm
kinda
like,
do
I
too.
feel
I'm just
sorry
like,
for
what
you.
are you doing?
It's
What do you
all
do?
right.
I like that Gary Vee style.
Yeah,
I like
it's like,
how I'm
well,
hearing
man.
that. You know what? I feel bad for that guy. Right? He's
You-
miserable.
You choose your.
He's
I mean,
that
this is
miserable,
how
he's
you're
got to
spending
tear
your
somebody else
time.
down. Exactly.
I ain't got time to do that. Who has the time for this?
Right.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But whatever.
So, favorite crankbait company? If you could
Can I
fish
just-
one brand and one brand only the rest of your life for every species, what would it be?
I'm not going to say brand because just like we are with our hooks, right? A lot of the stuff we do is built around a certain, like a hook. Like we use Mustad,
Right.
we use Gamakatsu, we use EMC.
All of them,
I don't want to
pretty
say brand, but I'll tell you one thing. Number one, hands down, most crankbaits I have in my boat is going to be a red eye shad, right, from Strike King. I love that, right, especially on the St Clair because I've gotten really good at throwing it on St Clair, up in Escanaba. Man,
It
we
rips
just throwing
nice.
them. It just that vibration, that
good.
tight wobble.
I read I should.
I mean, and late in the year, early in the year, right? It's so good. And then, deep diving crankbaits, they got good deep diving crankbaits. Hate to blow out or throw out my competitor, but they make all different types of
Right,
jigs
whatever.
and stuff, but crankbaits, whatever. Red Eye Shad is my number one.
Give me Rapala all day long. I love the DT series. I love them. I love them.
I'm
They
50-50.
feel right when I throw them.
I'm 50-50 on two brands. Rapala and Duo.
Yeah, yeah.
A duo.
Duo's really good.
I've been fortunate to be exposed to a lot of the Duo lineup that isn't
I haven't
necessarily
used
here
them.
though too. So
Yeah.
and I love a company like Rapala or Duo that put ton of effort into their crankbaits and make
Right.
sure it's right.
I do.
There's some lesser brands out there that definitely don't do it. So, but
Yeah,
I am
more-
excited to fish these guys. Have you guys fished 6 Sense stuff at all on the crankbait side of things?
You know what? I see a lot of their stuff. They
Right.
got a really good social media page. They got
Right.
a really good product.
Yeah.
I know when they first
love
came
their-
out,
I love their
looked,
colors.
I looked at them when they first came out, and I wasn't impressed. But over the last 4 years, what they've done on their quality
Right.
and their shapes and some of the stuff they're doing, I mean, they're sick.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to throwing
that's
that.
a nice
guy.
looking bait right there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a nice looking bait.
And the one
I've
thing I
never-
really hate is crankbait companies that charge $9 when it's a $4 crankbait.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, what
Like,
am I paying for?
I have some in the. I
You
bought a
them
bunch
before you went to
last year.
Escanaba and you never used
I
them.
didn't open them because I got in that red eye shad pattern.
Right.
Yeah.
That was it.
Whatever.
That was
Shad,
it.
whatever. But and we just were just smashing 5 and 6 pounders. But it's like
I was on the Ned pad.
I got them because they look good and they are pretty cost effective, efficient.
When are you guys gonna do an underspin?
We used to
did
do
one.
we used to do, we used to do one. We did a poison tail underspin.
Yeah.
and
used to do
it
one.
and it sold
They
okay.
did all right. We didn't really.
We
That
weren't
was
pushing
early
it.
on.
Yeah,
though.
we weren't
That was
pushing
early
it.
on, and yeah, we should do an understand.
Well, we're gonna have
I would like an affordable quality one because some of these companies are getting a little exorbitant
Which
on
I
their
don't
expense.
understand. They're out of control with some of those things. It's like,
You have $1.20 tops in material if you're small
Right,
batching
what are
it,
we
and you're
doing?
charging $7.
Mhm.
It bugs me a bit.
I'm more. I like what everybody's doing with the weedless, soft plastic, swim bait, and they got the belly weight with the underspin underneath it. And we're coming out with the new Swimbait Hook. Whenever we get time for it, we're gonna have that. We're gonna have a Swimbait Hook with that underspin attached to it. We're gonna have the option to so we'll sell it with the little eye in it still, and then we'll sell it as an underspin also, so you can put it in there if you want to or you don't have to. But we do have a belly weight we're working on.
It'd be nice to have a nice hook for a frog.
For
a Zoom
there's
horny
a couple.
I'm on a 2-year process of trying to refine that to like the perfect setup for me. For like the last 2 years, I have tried a ton of hooks.
Right.
And I'm getting frustrated. I found some great hooks, but they're too dang light, and the frog wants to rotate.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It'll flip on over.
What we're doing with the belly weight is going to be different. It's going to be. Think of a belly weight.
Told you I could tell what he was doing. I was like, I know what you're doing here.
I don't want to say too much.
Know you are telegraphing this thing.
Think about the belly weight.
He is excited about this thing.
There's nothing you can do with it.
I'll never forget, like the first message you sent, and you were like, "Oh my God, I figured this thing out." I'm like, "What in the world is happening?"
So we're just gonna say we're gonna do something different with it, but we haven't been working on it a ton. But I can't wait to get working on it. It'll be a good. I mean, you throw it in the summertime. You throw it with a frog. You know what I mean? You could throw it.
Yeah.
Early in the year, for some pre-spawn, stuff like that. But it probably won't come out. I don't know, man. We can.
I have some.
We can get it done before ICAST or something. We can
That's
get
true.
it's not super fancy.
It's not real.
I would like to see something that helps it run through pin reeds and mats better.
That's going to be hard to do.
That it will assist
presentation in general. The belly weight style is going to be hard to do in general. We're just going to give you a little more added value out of it, is what we're going to do. So we're going to give you added value out of it. And we talk about what we do all the time, just like with our drop shot weights. And it's not going to be the same thing as a drop shot weight, right? This is anything anybody else is doing, right? We just want to add a little bit more value, right? So that's what our swim bait hook is going to be. It's going to add more value. And I'm not talking about just putting the size on it. It's going to you when you see it in a year or 15 years, whatever, you'll be like, oh, okay, I get it. It makes sense. I understand it. It'll be good. You'll like it.
So, are you guys getting rid of the bass boat?
No,
never.
No,
it'll never. happen.
So.
You're not going this route full on, just nuts.
You know what? And I'm glad you touched on this. Can I take the floor for a second?
Please take the floor.
So,
floor is yours.
So when we've been talking to Crescent for a while now, and we got a couple kayaks, great kayaks. A lot of our customers are kayak anglers,
so many.
Right? A lot of them are kayak anglers because they love the Ned rig and they love hitting, throwing a jig or flipping a jig, what have you.
The Ned and a kayak go together very well.
But it's like we've always talked about how the bass fishing industry is very like, you're not part of our circle. All right, you're outside of our circle, right? So it's always been like that.
Always.
And ever since we've been doing this, it's like we want to be inclusive to everybody. That's why we always talk about bank fishing. That's why we always talk about kayak fishing. And that's why we still run a 20-foot Ranger bass boat.
Right.
We want to be inclusive to everybody. If you want to run the Crescent light tackle, just a paddle kayak, great.
Go nuts.
If you want to have the power drive, great.
Don't care.
We're here to help people catch more fish. That's really it. I don't care if you fish from the bank or you fish from them little raft paddle things that UK guys are always catching them from, and they're catching pike.
Right.
Listen, a fish is a fish. Great.
I don't care how you get out.
We're more into bass fishing, but a lot of these companies, they create a clique, and if you're not inside that clique, or you're at a tournament and you're not in that clique at a tournament, and you got like the aluminum boat.
Yeah, you roll up in a 16-foot aluminum, everybody's laughing at you.
And then that guy whoops your butt.
Cares?
You know, it's like, who cares? You know. So
I get a lot of hate for running my boat on St. Clair. They're like, you're gonna get you can't be out there and fishing when it's the best time. I'm like if that boat can't run, no one should be out there fishing because that's some nasty crap.
If it's that bad, I don't want to be out there anyway.
No matter what boat it is.
So yeah, so it really, I mean, us, and this is just you're hearing it first, is just us getting into kayaks is just saying, you know, we're acceptable into the kayak industry, right? We want to see it do really well because, and I'm not going to be like what's his name? Was Al Gore said he created the internet? What was that? Yeah. He said created. We saw kind of the kayak sensation coming, and we've kind of been jockeying for position ever since.
Right.
We saw the craze. We saw the KBF coming.
We're like, man, there is a lot happening.
And we knew this was going to be a powerful source, and we still talk about it. But it's like, listen, we want to help you catch more bass using the Ned, using whatever. Doesn't matter if you're fishing for the bank.
Yeah. Don't care what you're fishing.
Or from a bass boat.
I don't care what you're doing.
We don't care.
Yeah, because guess what? I do all those things. I fish from the bank.
Yep.
I enjoy it.
I mean, you think about the bank fishing market is generally that 12 to 18-year-old.
Yep.
You start, you know, 16 to 24 is your kayak, John boat.
Yep.
And most of my viewers are in that 30-year-old class, which is starting a family, got a good job. I can afford the nice stuff finally.
Yeah.
I may never get to use it, but I can afford it.
I got that thing. It's sweet.
But it's like
it looks so good and so fast in the driveway.
Well, think about if your videos and your YouTube page was just strictly for bass guys, right? What value would you add to people who just wanted to fish, right? Who didn't have the bass boat.
Right.
The idea is to create value for everybody, right? Not just be like, well, if you have a 19-foot single axle Ranger, you're not in the group.
You
know what I mean? You're a
Get out of here.
But it's like you're here to create content for everybody, right?
We're
here to create a product.
We're all just fishing
for everybody.
Because guess what? Most of us, we all fish from the bank. You know, that's pretty much where we all started. You know?
Truth.
Oh, I'm going back to my home waters to go do some wade fishing this spring.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the best.
I try to go at least once a year. I didn't go last year because of the rain. When I wanted to go, it was blown out. I mean, it was 3,000 feet per second. Just you ain't wading that. So
I mean, there's no better feeling than going up on a bank and like walking down to a river and climbing through a bunch of trees and throwing out and catching like a 2.5 pound smallmouth. It's like that was awesome.
I grew up down in Monroe County, so the Raisin is where I did so much bass fishing growing up.
Right.
We used to take a 12-foot John boat when the water was high and it wasn't safe to wade and get an electric motor on it. We would hook up, you know, those trash can wheels that go on the round tubs.
Yeah.
We would strap one of those to the John boat and use it as our trailer and drag it a half mile down the street to get to the river. With our bikes, we would lock the bikes up onto the bridge, and just throw the wheels in and go. Crossing M50 was so dangerous because they would fall off.
I know. It's like, oh my goodness, we should have died 100 times.
It's a 4-lane divided highway we're crossing.
That's a big boy
with a 12-foot John boat, and they're like, "What the hell is going on?"
Semi's just rolling through.
We're going
fishing.
Go. But we caught so many fish. Me, my brother, my best friend, that was the best man at my wedding. Like the very first time we used it, we were going up this riffle area that we would fish in. We're like, we're going to go way upstream and float down, thinking that this 12-volt, 30-pound thrust motor was going to go against 2,000 feet per second, like a gas motor.
We got this.
Not really.
Yeah.
But we're going through this riffle area. Dude, we had a 4-pounder smack my brother in the back of the head, disconnect the battery, and we're spinning and freaking going into weed beds.
Going in circles like,
and he's like, dude, this fish. You know, some of my best memories are when I didn't have it. You know, my best, most memorable memories fishing. Yeah.
It's just,
you didn't care.
Like I have so many memories of floating down in a metal canoe in the Huron River out in the Dexter area and just catching so many fish, tipping over, losing all my tackle. And it's just like, but there's just so many.
All $100 of it.
So much fun doing it. It was just a blast. And it's like those people who love doing that are kind of, I wouldn't say shunned from, you know, companies, but they're ignored.
They're ignored. They're ignored from the traditional bass fishing community.
Absolutely.
Hence the Guggen guys. You know, Alex Barrett and John B. You know,
Think about it.
those
So
guys
smart.
in Flair, those guys were those kids. Now they're able to afford a boat, and they're getting into that older group. So
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
you know, and that was their bread and butter.
Yeah. Smart.
I'll tell you one thing. I've been beat by a lot of guys in St. Clair or any lake. They have a tiller motor, and they pull 18 to 20 pounds of largemouth or smallmouth up, and they have it in a Rubbermaid with a little air filter.
With
and
the
it's
aerator.
like, and I'm waxing down the boat
Yeah, it's like,
with like 15 pounds.
look how sweet I look.
You know, like,
Oh,
yeah.
buddy,
you know,
I'm looking
It
forward
is.
to doing some largemouth catching here shortly. The month of April is amazing for largemouth.
what's your favorite bass tactic for St. Clair? Did you see that pop up?
Yep. I threw
What
it
do you
up.
got?
So I want to hear your guys' first. Because you guys
My
spend enough time
favorite-
out there.
Our favorite bass tactic
Ned rig,
for
right?
St. Clair.
It's got to be a Ned rig. Ned
That's
EWG.
what I'm doing.
So
90% of the time, that's
so
what I'm throwing out there.
we start.
Maybe more, probably 98% of the time. And if, I'm having a slow run, it's like, all right, back to the drop shot for two. But
Yeah.
I'm almost always, I just have so much confidence in the Ned. It's like, why am I trying? I'll start doing all this other stuff. And it's like, what am I doing? Just throw the Ned. You're going to catch some fish.
Well, right outside of right there at Harley with all them rocks and stuff like that.
Right.
To be able to throw that Ned in those rocks, One thing, I mean, just to go away from the Ned, I start and end with the Ned all the time, the Ned
I don't
EWG, not any
understand.
other Ned, right? I'm going to go away from it for a second. One thing that I do a lot.
Hey, where's our trophy from that?
What's that? Oh, my goodness. Oh, you should bring this.
I don't know if JC knows this, man.
Oh, yeah, JC, we got to bring this up. But
I don't know if he knows this happened.
one thing, this trophy, so we got this trophy last year. It's right in here inside this paper divider right here.
It's in here?
It's right behind there. See right there?
I don't
It's
see
behind the phone.
Why am I missing
Right
it?
here.
Why am I missing it? Oh, it's
It's right in there. So anyways, what I do with the tube is I take a tube and I long line it.
yeah.
I whip it out there
He's a weird too.
and I let it go, right? And I might not be throwing it into a school of bass, or if I'm just like searching for bass, or we're on a spot and it's getting kind of dead, or they moved and I couldn't find them right away. I'll just launch a tube out as far as I can, and I'll just kind of tighten it up and I'll just kind of drag it, right? And that's what dragging a tube is.
Yep.
Right.
But I let this go.
Right.
Right. I open up that
I'm
freaking
like,
thing
he's
and
got
it's
like a
gone.
mile of line out there.
And I'll tell you one thing. It's funny because we took big bass last year on Lake St. Clair. But you see anything different about this bass?
You see it?
You see it?
What's that bass?
What bass is that?
Looks like a spotted.
It looks like
It looks like spotted. It's actually a largemouth.
It's a largemouth. So we won the big bass out there doing that, long line in a tube, and we caught. And it was like there was nobody even close to our big bass, and it was a largemouth.
Right.
How much did it weigh?
It's just under 6 pounds.
Yeah.
Just under 6 pounds.
We were shocked.
Everybody was just like,
Like a largemouth?
A large
bass out here? It's like, what? It's like,
If you ignore the smallmouth in April for a few weeks
"Yep,
and focus on the marsh areas and
Oh,
certain canals, certain flats
Right. You
on the
catch-
North Shore, dude, you could crack 25 pounds in largemouth on the
sure.
right day.
Yeah.
Now, can you do it 2-3 days in a row? Probably not.
probably not."
But you could definitely do 20 pound, 18 pound pretty consistently year round out there.
Good.
If you put the effort in. You could.
Yeah,
And
Yep.
and think about it. Back when 18 pounds, back in the 90s when Kim Stricker was king of St. Clair.
Yeah.
That's all it took to win.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now we're like 18 pounds. Oh, you're down the middle. Someone buying
Yeah, right.
you might not even get a check.
Right.
You probably won't get a check.
Right.
18
Yeah, I mean,
pounds
that's-
even in a weekend or a weekday derby
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
get you a check sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's me. That's my tactic. I mean, obviously we can promote product and stuff too, but honestly, program a tube jig,
Yep.
a big
He's a
4-inch
big
tube,
Yeah, he's the tube master.
launch it out there as far as you can, open it up, just like long line on a crankbait, like down in
Yeah.
Kentucky or whatnot, which a lot of tournament organizations shun the long lining crankbaits and
The
stuff like that. But
strolling technique.
yeah, pretty much what you're doing with a tube.
Yeah. Yeah. You're basically trolling, but you're not using
Yeah.
water.
Yeah. Pretty
But
much.
you're just kind of
using the
letting it kind of drag. You're dragging, you're ripping it once you feel something,
Mhm.
and it's hard to feel that bite out there. So you got to use, obviously 100% fluorocarbon,
Or braid.
he's like about 12,
See,
10 to 12
I
pounds.
like throwing a net out there, but more like vertical, like right by the boat.
Mm.
And it's
Yep.
I
yeah.
don't know why, but it's like, man, I've caught some good ones right there, right next to the boat. It's
Yep.
like, oh, there it is, and you almost like ice fishing style.
Yeah, you're video gaming.
Right.
Yeah, there's probably 5 techniques that everybody should have a good handle on if they're on St Clair. Drop shot, tube. Tube and Ned rig are you fish them the same way, honestly.
Pretty close. Yep.
You know, when you're summertime Ned rigging, you're
Right.
the same deal.
Yep.
A crankbait,
Deep diving.
and you're lipless.
Yep.
Those 5 deals will catch you fish
That's it.
6 to 9 months out of the year out there for
Yeah.
smallmouth.
That's all you really need to do.
Lipless or jerkbait, right? You got to get into that jerkbait
I'm
touch
throwing
too.
it.
Well,
Jerkbait.
jerkbaits are not as strong as they used to be. I know guys used to fish deep diving jerkbaits on the racks and the humps, out by the firecracker like crazy. And I was out pre-fishing for the Bassmaster North with my buddy Andrew Smith, and he was ripping the hell out of this jerkbait. I mean, aggressive. Like I've never seen other than saltwater fishing like that aggressive of ripping it. And he was catching 1 and 2 pounders. Here's me on the back of the boat, spy baiting, just doing nothing, and I'm crushing big fish. But as easy as spy baiting is, the learning curve is actually steep on just getting the concentration part down and being consistent in it. Yeah. It's the consistency in the retrieve that matters. That's the hardest part. Cast and retrieve. How many baits do we cast and retrieve in this business? And it catches fish. A lipless, a crank, a spinnerbait, a chatterbait.
Yep.
Just cast and retrieve. That's all you got to do. Yep. Just cast and line.
Reel it in.
But getting that touch and feel down is not for the beginner sometimes.
Right.
So I don't really throw that in the top 5.
More of a technical type thing.
Yeah. Once you master those 5, you can go into fishing those jerk baits. You can go into fishing, the underspins and spy baits for those suspended fish, those hard to get fish.
Right.
Right. I mean, you get those 5 down, you're going to catch a bunch of fish.
You're going to always go out and catch 2 pounders. You're always going to be all
right. Yeah.
You're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, drop shot, if I take my wife out or anybody that's really not good at certain, working techniques.
Just hold this rod.
Yep. I hand them a drop shot. I tell them just drop it off the side of the boat, give it a 10 count, pull tight, and just hold it. Don't do a thing. The waves will do everything you need to do.
Right. You ain't got to do nothing. They will bite it.
There's how many times do I get outfished by somebody doing that in the back of the boat? A lot.
For sure.
A lot.
I've been my butt whooped so many times.
But having somebody in the back of the boat doing that or fishing a Ned rig really slow in the back of the boat tells you so much, where the guy in the front of the boat can be a little more active, that more aggressive. Right. You can, as long as you are working together, you can find a bite that some people might be missing, especially on St. Clair.
Yeah. That's why we like team tournaments, right? Is a lot of like BFLs. Right. It's like you're like learning based off of a stranger, right? When at a team tournament, you can kind of feed off one another. Right. Be like, oh, I'm hitting this bank, and they're like, I'm going to throw a jerk bait on the opposite side of the boat and see if I got some coming up, right? Especially in the spring and whatnot, right? I could be hitting ends of dock posts.
I love fishing a team tournament solo because I like to handicap myself right out the gate.
I like that too.
I do it a ton. I do it a ton. But, if you go to a team tournament and you're fishing solo and you're fishing that lake 100% blind and you get just out of the money, that's something to be proud of. Especially here in Michigan.
I love it.
It's like, holy crap.
If you're like 4th or 5th out of 20 boats and you've never seen that lake, you've never fished it, and you fished it solo, dude, that's an achievement. And it's
I feel
as pissed off as I get, because that's always my position. I'm always just out of the money. I never get money, it seems, on tournament day. There. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I know. But I take those as wins, man, because that's hard to do. You only have one mind trying to figure it out. And you're trying to fish 4 different ways and rotate. And especially you're trying to cover water, find fish slow once you find fish if they're not, but like you're trying to do a gazillion things and
there's
like and you're like I'm pulling up my app on my phone to look at the lake map. Okay, where am I going to go next if this spot in 5 minutes doesn't produce? It's only 150 acres, so I can run and check every freaking lake
I can hit every single spot
in 4 hours and then go, crap, let's go back to that 1 pound spot and grind it out the rest of the day.
I like the best. Yep.
Back when I first got my first boat, right, that's how I learned a lot, right? I do those 3-hour night tournaments, or I do those, those shootouts, or whether it be 1-on-1 or 2-on-2, and I just go fish by myself, right? I was forced to learn it quickly.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when I still do the 3-hour tournaments, because it's like, lake like Lobdell, I can get on and I know, but a lake like up in wherever you're like, oh, I've never been here before, $50 to buy in. I'm going to go do that. And it's going to force me to try to learn it quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I think me and you talked at the Novi show about going up by Claire and hopping in on the Buyers tournament series he does up there on a whim.
That's right.
Just drop in, show up and say, I'm donating, kick my ass.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all donating.
Although I do know a few lakes up there.
Yeah, that's true. He does know a couple.
I will say this: most largemouth lakes I can figure out in a day pretty easily.
It's
smallmouth lakes are not easy to figure out.
Smallmouth are tricky. It's like these things could be anywhere.
Yeah. Smallmouth are like a hormonal teenager.
Right. Basically.
They are. They're like tween girls. They're tween girls is what they are.
I was going to say something else, but I'm going to hold that comment. That's not going to come across good. I'll leave that alone. He said tween girls. I can't go there now.
Right.
Yeah.
Feds are watching this thing. What are we doing?
Someone will clip that and use that one against me.
Right.
Yeah. They'll take that out of context immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like they do everything Trump says.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he does it to himself too. That's another story altogether.
Yeah, he doesn't help his own cause.
Must see TV. Must see TV.
You got to listen to him when he's talking live, because you edit and play it back. It sounds horrible 90% of the time. It really does.
Man. It's like, what is happening here?
Yeah,
so funny.
So, what is your guys' dream fishing trip? The one you haven't done yet? That bucket list trip.
I would love to go deep sea. I'm just going away from bass because, you can catch bass in a pond, right? And you can catch a bass in a ditch down in Florida, right? I've never been deep sea fishing. I'd like to go catch maybe like a big grouper or a swordfish. I think it would be cool. Yeah. I've traveled some and I fished some cool lakes and stuff like that, but I've never, caught a redfish. I've never caught just like a big ocean, I'm gonna kill you if you catch me kind of fish.
Yeah.
You know what
when
I mean?
it gets up
a shark that can eat you in half.
Yeah, right. Like, hold on, let me grab the net. No, it's an actual net.
Right.
You have
to shoot it first, and then you net it, and then you bring it.
Like catching like a tuna. That would be cool. But we go all over and we fish bass all over and stuff. And we love bass fishing, but it's like never gone deep sea fishing.
I still haven't fished Okeechobee, and that's one like I really want to go. Just I don't know. I've been watching it since I was a kid, and it's like
you just want to experience once and go.
Right,
okay,
for sure. Just like guys down south are probably like, man, I'd love to fish St Clair.
Sure.
Yeah, a ton of guys. One day I want to get out there and fish that smallmouth
water. Right.
Okeechobee's my St Clair.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to go try it.
Well, if it's bass fishing, I would love to go fish the Delta, the California Delta.
I would love.
I've heard it's really, really good.
Just because it's clean water and it's just really beautiful country.
Yeah.
Granted, it is California. That's the only drawback of that trip.
That's the issue right there.
Yeah.
But
a lot of weird stuff there.
The one thing I would love to go do is spend a week on a crab boat.
That would be cool.
That would be cool.
I would probably crap my pants like 14 times.
Yeah.
It
would be fun to go do
catch in my life, and I don't know if I got the stomach for that.
I would be good until nighttime and fully exhaustedness, because then I'm going to get seasick.
See, that's the thing. I'd like
that's the only time I get seasick.
I do not want to work on that thing because those guys are insane.
But it'd be freaking cool to catch a freaking 20-pound crab that, freaking
I know.
I can't even fit my arms in here. Check this thing out, and it can freaking pinch your finger and cut it off.
Right.
It'd be a fun trip to go do it.
I'll tell you what, the Bering Sea looks. That thing scares the hell out of me.
Oh, in the wintertime, that's a scary place in the wintertime, man. That's some big water.
Thank you on that.
I'm good at. It's kind of hard for me to stand up on shore, let alone an ice-covered boat that's rocking.
It's how big is that? 30-foot weight? What?
Yeah,
and I'm on the ice. Oh,
and now odds are they'll probably never get a chance to do that.
Probably not. Yeah, that's a tough.
So
one. That's a tough one to pull off.
The other one I would love to go do is go up by Nova Scotia and do the bluefin tuna.
Yeah,
rod and reel, bluefin.
Yep.
Go for a
Rod and reel.
1,000-pounder.
Yeah, that would be cool.
It would hurt so bad. Just give me one and done. Just give me a 500 to 1,000-pounder. Let me take it home and I'll sell it.
Yep.
I'll sell it in Detroit and make some money.
right. Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
that'd be cool.
That would be an amazing trip. I've watching the guys on Wicked Tuna and all that, and that would be a blast to go do that.
Yeah.
But those guys are fishing for a living doing it that way. That is a hard way to make a living.
That's a hard way to live.
I don't want to do that. Yeah.
I mean, you're talking if you can't catch, 2 or 3 or 4 fish in a quick succession, once you have one in the box, you have to head in because that value of that meat drops so quick.
Yep. Right.
And I mean that you're talking $1,000 bills really quick going away.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I know my success at fishing. I'd go hungry a lot because it's like, oh man,
that would be a cool trip though. That's one I wouldn't mind doing one time. So.
That'd be cool to go to like you said, California and catch some big freaking 20-pounders out there, like in Havasu.
You also go to California and come back as a woman. So that's cool.
I won't say I would enjoy fishing those big, huge stock ponds, but
did you just say that?
Yeah,
he just said that.
I'm just
he
moving
just
on.
skipped over it.
I'm just moving on. I'm not
just
even
keep
going.
going. Just keep going. Just
not
keep
going down the Jenner path on this one. We're gonna stay away from.
Don't even stop the train.
Just keep it rolling.
Well, like those stock ponds that they do and those pay lakes.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Like that would be cool, but I would much rather go catch a wild fish out of the delta that's 12, 15 pounds than a fish that's force-fed freaking rainbow trout its whole life.
Shoved up it. Yeah, I know.
Which is the most Californian thing you can think of to feed a freaking bass. We're going to go raise trout in a hatchery for thousands of dollars and then put them in a bass pond and let the bass eat it.
Yeah, we're going to see how big a bass can get.
Yeah.
But you can't keep anything out of any of these lakes, even the trout. I'm like, get out of here.
What is happening?
Anyways, but pay lakes are interesting to me.
You know what I heard? We realized up in like Washington, they've got some big bass up
Washington is low-key exploded. Right.
Yeah.
Oregon, Idaho, Wyoming's got a little bit of it.
Just booming. And it is unbelievable the stuff we see that we get tagged in.
And they hate bass out there with a passion. Those steelhead guys, they're eating all of our fish. And
Oh yeah, they're getting gigantic.
There is a bass renaissance going on up there that people have no idea.
It's been I've talked to David Swinside from Duo about that, in private conversations and the battles that they fight up there just to keep access and keep them from murdering these fish out of the river systems where they're naturally occurring. They weren't stocked. Just the conditions because they've dammed these rivers. The bass do better than these pelagic fish.
Right.
You made the condition. Now you got a fishery, but they just don't want anything to do with it.
The Three Rivers, and showing us pictures. 4.5 pound largemouth caught in the same spot as a 5 pound smallmouth. And it's like, holy crap! He's like literally in the same spot.
Yep.
Boom.
But I tell you what, some of those river systems, they get the right wind. Dude, they rival the Detroit River and St Clair River for just epic wave action. They get wicked. They get some wicked water conditions out there that
we're used to that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some cool pictures.
I've had my wallet crammed up my butt a couple times out in St. Clair. Just shoved sideways up there. Just I went to pay and I was like, hold
on.
I gotta get my wallet back up. I've had it happen. You're going out there running on St. Clair. Coming, so doing a tournament, running up the St. Clair River, and then running all the way across St. Clair River because you made a bad choice. And now you're running into the Detroit River because you're going to go to Erie, and then you hit Erie, and it's already at 4 or 5 foot waves, and you hit it, and you hit it doing 50 or 60, and it's one of those things you got to get used to.
You hit it, and it's like, this is going to hurt.
I've told so many people I would much rather go fish 3 and 5 footers on Erie than that 1.5 foot chop that St. Clair gets.
That
Oh, it is
chop
annoying.
That chop on St. Clair is the worst.
Dude, it's not big, but it freaking beats the shit out of
It
you.
just beats
Yeah.
you. By the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're just like, I just want to go home.
Why am I doing this to myself?
Right. Why am I doing this? This is
It does. It
stupid.
gives you that it's just like a shock, and it's like
Ugh.
you're hitting it and you're
it's
hitting
just
it,
over
you're hitting it,
and
and
It
it's
doesn't
just like
stop.
it's like it's because it's all party boat waves. A lot of it, right? Because there's
Yeah.
no like direction. It's all
Yeah,
just like
it's just coming from every
and you're
angle.
just like,
It's
yeah.
boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom.
Especially if you leave out a Harley, you have the current coming out of the north channel, the middle channel, flowing through there. You throw a south wind, that current, and then Memorial Day weekend traffic.
yeah.
Dude, bass
Good
boats
night.
break in that.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
big boats that break in that.
Yes, there's a lot
Yeah.
of damage.
I almost lost my motor last year because
right.
of
It
that.
was close. That thing was hanging on by a thread.
How many waves have you speared?
All of them.
Yes.
Knock on
All of
wood.
them.
Knock on
don't-
wood. I still haven't done
can't
one
even
in the new
talk
boat.
that. I can't even say nothing because I am a
He's
I am a
maniac. is what
terrible
he is.
driver.
He's a maniac.
like I throw caution to the wind. Like
I just have to hold on.
I
That's my
feel bad
goal.
for him because I'm holding on the wheel and I'm like,
Right.
like what are you bouncing around for?
I'm just like, take a video of this, and I'm like, hey, you man.
I can't even hold it straight.
Right. I'm
Oh.
just trying to keep myself in the boat.
But
I
I throw caution to the wind sometimes. Sometimes like we look at each other. I'm like, yeah, I should probably calm down.
Yeah.
right? Like
Like, probably
let's just
scale back a little
Scale
bit.
back a little bit, you
It's
know.
okay.
My problem is I'll be like, let's leave ourselves an hour to get back. And then I'm like, well, we got 40 minutes, guys.
Oops.
you know,
Oh, we have 10 minutes. We can fish the
Yeah.
rocks for 10 minutes.
Right. We can
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it. We can make it.
one more cast.
One
Just
more.
give me one more
Yeah.
cast.
That's right.
I tell you what, if it wasn't for the fact that I broke my back,
Oof.
I probably would have killed myself on St. Clair by now
Right.
because I know how I like to drive fast and fish speed. There's some stuff that I've done over in Walpool through the grass
Yeah.
beds that I would probably get yelled at if someone seen me do what I was doing over
Right.
there.
Yeah. It's like, what
Like-
the hell?
I'm just sitting here and I'm sitting here going, please not another boat come the opposite direction because we are so hitting.
Right. Because
Oh, yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
gonna be good.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's some very long channels to get to for different lakes and ponds, and idling it, no, thank you. Not
Right.
I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
And it's 90 degrees out in the middle of July. I'm not idling.
No,
I
we get screamed at a lot.
I'm going.
Get a lot of
Right.
yells.
it's all marshland. There's no. It's not like there's houses. You're in the middle of
Right.
a marsh.
There's no
And
reason for this.
It's 10 foot of
Remember-
water. It's moving water. I should be able to go as fast as I want.
Right.
Just get out of my way.
Doesn't
Remember
matter.
last year? I don't know if you've seen last year. We fished in the St. Clair River a lot last year. People holding up signs that said like "No wait" because their like house was underwater, and it's like I didn't buy the house.
Right.
on
I
the
didn't build
water.
my house right on a Great
Well,
Lake. That's
and
your
the thing
fault.
is-
You're to fish.
The thing is that the bass boats, they go as fast as they go. They don't throw that big of a wake when they're on.
No.
No, we
It's-
throw a bigger
it's
wake when
small.
we're going slow.
Exactly. And the funny
Right.
part is that we don't have the same laws as the tuna boats
Right.
because we're under 26 feet.
Yes.
Yep.
You know,
What are
so
we
we
doing?
can go balls out
Rip
in most areas with no issue. There's no wake areas that we have to abide by
Sure.
Yes.
because it's tighter quarters. It's if
Yep.
you're 200, if you're
Dangerous.
200 feet off the shore, you can go as fast as you want to St. Clair River in 90% of the river.
Right.
Right.
Just go.
You know,
nuts.
for a bass boat.
Yeah.
Granted, if you're going nuts and you're flying by a freighter and you're not paying attention, you deserve to die.
Yeah. Scroll through our Instagram. You probably see one of those.
So was it this or was it this? Which
I've been
side
riding
did you get?
Joe's like, let's see how close we can get to that thing. I'm like, let's not. He's throwing like 18-foot waves off the bow of this thing.
You're riding next to it, and you feel the water like kind of suck
Pulling
you,
you in.
and
Yeah.
then you ride up it, right?
Yeah,
and you're like,
Yep.
it's very
It's
dangerous.
like,
Don't try
I
it.
don't know
Yeah.
if I like it.
We're on a closed stunt course. Don't
Right, don't try this at home.
Well, there was back when we had the low water conditions.
Yeah.
We'd be fishing some of these flats. That freighter would come by, your boat would kiss the
Yep.
bottom. And
Yep.
if you
Hit a
didn't
rock.
raise,
Yeah.
if you didn't raise your big motor up, you were
Right.
guaranteed to thrash that prop.
Right.
Because it
Low
will
water,
it will put the
don't do
whole
that
weight
in
of the
low
boat,
water, that's for sure.
put your whole weight of the boat onto a freaking boulder, and then you can't get out of there because of that, and you're stuck on there. And then you wait for the water to come back up. That's all you can do.
Yep.
But that's awesome for fishing because if you get smallmouth to stack on that wall, and it's near a creek mouth that's got a bunch of bait fish, those things get sucked right out into the river, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah.
Right.
They're coming out.
And then there's a lot of good spots we fish in the Detroit River where it's like when the water was that low and you're fishing, you're kind of hugging up towards docks and seawalls. Them freighters come through, you gotta back out on the trolling motor because it will.
It's like,
you're fishing a pile of rock, and it's like, well, that rock's still underneath the boat still.
Part of that.
You're doing this, and then all of a sudden you start pulling back out, and all of a sudden you get thrown right back into it. As the water comes rushing
you got a trolling motor back to get away from it because it will sling you.
Yeah, you're gonna get slinged back into it.
Oh yeah, you got to put your head in a swivel and go, okay, I'm starting to see the water move, trying to move the boat out.
Right, yeah.
So I don't get slammed into the cover.
I'm gonna think.
Well, that's the thing is we always talk about like we had some big anglers like successful. Scott Dobson's doing pretty good on the is he in the FLW tour?
Yeah,
Now,
FLW tour, I believe.
But think of how many careers have been sucked from people because they were good on Lake St. Clair and Lake Erie, but they don't realize it's like a Disney World, right? This is not like any other roller coaster.
Just doesn't transfer.
It doesn't transfer to a lot of these other techniques and lakes. And, it's so good to fish, and that's why a lot of people should come and visit it. But if you're good on St. Clair, it does not mean you're good everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can definitely take what you learn on St. Clair and go anywhere in the Great Lakes, the St. Lawrence Seaway, Champlain, those areas, but or out west even, in Washington and Oregon, that stuff translates. It's the same kind of fishing. But you can't take what you learned on St. Clair and go fish largemouth.
Yeah.
Down south, you're fishing 5 bet. Your mindset has to change because on St. Clair, you're going out for 20 to 40 bites.
Yeah.
You're not fishing 5 bites on St. Clair very often.
Fishing 5 bites.
Nope.
Unless you're doing unless you're doing fall monster quests. That's about the only time you're fishing 5 bites. That's all you give a shit about.
Or you're fishing the dead of summer on Lake Erie on a rock pile, and you're like, I'm looking for 6 bites because I'm going to mess one up.
And that's all that lives on that rock.
There's only 6 of them.
And they're all
humongous.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. But other than that, I mean, you're fishing a 20 fish day. You go down to, Gunnersville and stuff like that in the summertime. You're hoping for 5 bites. You don't care how big they are. As long as you get 5 bites, you have to fish perfect and clean. Or you're screwed.
You can't
so
miss.
it's a totally different mindset going down south.
It is.
That's what the big change, right? It's everybody should come up and experience Lake St. Clair, Lake Erie, Detroit River, really any Michigan Great Lakes, but
Escanaba.
Everything. Don't go to Escanaba. There's no fish in Escanaba. I'm telling you, I went there one time.
Garbage.
Terrible thing. Terrible people up there. Don't go up there.
St. Mary's River's got no fish either.
Yeah, don't go up there. There's not great fishing up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The bass up there. You don't want to go to the.
They have a catch and keep tournament. And that makes me
but anywhere in Michigan,
happening?
Go experience it. But it's like just don't take a bunch from it, right?
Right.
Learn the technique of our area.
Yep.
Drop shot, deep cranking, long line, and stuff like that, wherever it be. But it's like Ned, you can take anywhere, right? But anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But come experience it, but it just does not translate into every other platform.
Right. It's hard to replicate that.
Well, there's guys from down south that are really good 6 down south, and they do well on St. Clair if they can adjust to the open water fishing.
Yep.
They do well up here because they can grind out.
Circle.
Well,
it's like, where do I go?
In those August tournaments, you're fishing a lot of isolated spots out here in St. Clair. You're not, it's a 3 square mile full area of fish, but there's tiny spots that you have to find and locate. Yes. And the guys down south that figured out that this exact turn off of this weed bed after three or four weed points, that's where they're going to be. That's kind of the same deal on St. Clair in the late summer. You can go out and catch 2 and 3 pounders, but go out and catch 5 and 6 and 7s. That's the spot on the spot on the spot type stuff.
You have to hone in on those.
Well, I'm glad you said it. St. Clair, a lot of it, you can go catch numbers. Lake Erie's got some big giants. But if you go to Lake St. Clair and you find the spot inside the spot, you can catch them 5-6 pounders.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how sometimes those spots reload every day.
I know, it's crazy. Doesn't
And-
even make sense.
And what is crazy about St. Clair, and I've seen it, I've been fishing St. Clair for a long time, the grass and stuff, you get on a spot, and the next year the grass moves.
I know,
Right?
it's like, well,
And you're like,
Never in the
"Fuck."
same
Like,
place.
It happens all the time. You got
Yep.
that sand grass that's really good, holds
It's like,
a lot of
there's
good
no
gold in your
grass here.
perch. And like you get back there and you're like, okay, now I got to find the new spot because
Yeah.
this is the area they want to hang in,
Yep.
but they want to hang in the grass that's in this area.
Yeah.
That little
Yep.
low line keeps them cool. And you just have to make a big circle and you're like, ooh, the grass spot's back up over
Yeah.
here. Now this is where, and a lot of these other lakes, they choke up. Like
Yeah.
Inland Lake, it's like you go there, you know it's going to be
Yeah.
choked.
Here's where the weeds
And that's where they're going to be. St. Clair, you go there and it's like, I'm looking for this spot. You get on the spot and there's no grass. And you're like, why
Wow.
didn't this not grow?
What
again,
happens?
right?
What
Did
happens on
nobody
the bottom
plant
of this
this?
lake?
Well, the one thing that's really interesting,
Farming.
if you go out to St. Clair and drop a waypoint every time you catch a 4-pounder or better, you'll see a very defined pattern that you can take all over the lake and really hone in on it.
Thank you, Justin.
Right?
Thank you.
But you have to catch fish to start that.
Thank you.
Here's the thing.
So
Here's
if
the
you
thing
can't
about it,
catch
Roy.
fish, it doesn't
You,
matter.
look at,
if
you
use
can't
that
even see
fish.
the lake anymore. It's just all
But-
dots, and it's
but
like,
here's the
where
thing,
are
though.
we?
But here's the thing. What you have to do is then at the end of the year, go through and take those clusters and put a waypoint in the center of that cluster every year and make that a permanent waypoint because that's your starting points.
Yeah.
You go to the
It's
area,
better-
you start side scanning and try to find those cabbage beds in the perch grass again.
Right. It's better, like you just said, put a dot near that or in it, and then just delete them all around it. Right.
Yep.
And then just because you got almost refreshed.
Because
I
that
don't
zone
do
will
that.
always have fish somewhere within a mile of it.
Right. I don't do that because I'm a natural hoarder. Right. Whatever. Right. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
I need my dots. I'm sorry.
listen,
I need my dots.
I go dot to dot. Right. You know,
Yeah.
it's that thing that kills a lot of pros is they got so much history on a lake that they forget what to do because they're fishing a spot they were good in 6 years ago when the sun was kind of early morning, 8 to 9.
Dam was drawing water,
yeah, right.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
But-
I mean, it's easy to get stuck in those patterns where it's like, oh yeah,
but I do it because I'm the junkie and
It
I hoard
happens to me
things
on
and
St.
I
Clair
only
all
like
the
certain
time.
techniques.
yeah.
Now I did find a really cool bite in the middle of summer last year with your guys' product.
Oh,
In the middle of the lake or in the middle of summer?
Middle of summer, July, August, fishing pinreed beds for smallmouth in 6 foot of water
I
on
like
the
it.
North Shore.
I like
was
it.
I had nothing but sheephead, smallmouth, and muskie in here.
oh my goodness.
wow.
And we're talking muskie that were like way
Big old
fatter than
hog.
they should be for their length.
Right.
So I know what they were in there eating. They were in there eating the sheephead because they don't eat anything else.
That's funny because every sheephead feels like a bass, right? 'Cause
Everyone.
It's like, oh, come on.
Everyone.
Well, yeah.
It's so disheartening.
They're a lot of fun though. Like when you're in those pin reeds, that was a fun bite.
Right.
But I was fishing way too light a tackle
Yeah.
for that deal.
Right.
So I had to switch to a bait caster, and that made it a little bit better. But spinning tackle was not working.
It can get eerie up there. I mean, that North Shore of St. Clair, up in the North Shore. I mean, there's a lot of muskie. Remember last year, we could just see them just kind of like staging
just kind of
around this area, looking for either smallmouth, like you said, or like
Or just-
sheephead or
or
whatnot.
people.
Suckers
people,
and carp.
Right.
Right.
Whatever.
But
Whatever
the
they see.
small cats, and,
Right.
cats and dogs.
Yeah.
like,
waiting for that duck to land on the water.
the
They're
way-
gonna get it.
The way that North Channel kind of flows up into that Anchor Bay right there, a lot of big smallmouth people miss up there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of good ones.
I tell you what, the Walpole area of St. Clair,
Yeah.
is another one of those spots. There's some good water that got cut off to us due to a lease, which sucks. But there's some good stuff up there, and I had my biggest largemouth ever caught up here on and lost it.
Oh, really?
Over in Walpole last year,
Okay.
and I thought I was turning my camera on and I was turning it off,
Oh,
so I lost it. I'm like,
I've been there.
I literally said, GoPro, start recording, and it stopped recording, and it caught my hook set, and it caught the head. That was it, and then it's gone. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Like that would have made the 10-minute video because I was straight up pushing my boat through like a 3-foot wide opening that I knew I could get back to a pond. But I'm like, okay, it's 6 foot of water, full send, just center on, just push right through. So I was doing some bushwhacking to get in there, but there's some great
that'd be
stuff.
good. I love that.
there's some great stuff that I wanted to get in there and really go after it, but it got too hot and those largemouth just left like the next week. So that kind of sucked. Yeah, they pushed out of there and probably followed the current and disappeared on me. But there were some good ones up in there. I thought it was a carp at first, like cruising. I'm like, oh, look at that carp. And I'm like, wait a second. That's awfully green. That's a largemouth.
Oh, my goodness.
And it flipped back on that Senko, and just spinning tackle and heavy matted weeds is not a good idea.
Not a good
Not a good idea.
I mean, St. Clair and just our region, a lot of times when you catch a largemouth or a smallmouth, you know within a few minutes of fighting it, right? If you're like when we caught that largemouth out there, like you knew, like this thing is not fighting right. It feels it's like mixed between a walleye and a smallmouth.
Something's
you know what I mean? Like,
here.
And but there are some dumb largemouth. I don't know if they took the wrong turn in Albuquerque, but they're out there by their shipping channel, and
why are you here?
And they're giants, and it's like, are you stupid? There's no dirty weeds out here. What are you doing?
I tell you what, I talking with my tournament buddy of mine. He's 50, 60 years old. The guy I usually fish tournaments with, and he was telling me stories of fishing topwaters in 12 foot of water and catching nothing but largemouth back in the 80s. Like there wasn't a lot of smallmouth on the lake, and the lake was dirty.
It wasn't.
And then the zebra mussel showed up.
Yes.
And the whole lake flipped, and the largemouth stayed close to shore because they're cover oriented. Well, once the weeds started to grow out in the lake, those big largemouth started to feel okay to travel and get away from those canals. So now you got tons of 1 and 2 pounders in these canals, except for the springtime. There's a lot of giants. But you get to that 6 to 12 foot range, there's some good largemouth to be had.
Yeah.
And it's usually going to be a mixed bag, too. You're going to get both.
Yep.
But the smallmouth are so aggressive, you're mainly going to catch smallmouth, but there's largemouth mixed in with those guys.
Yeah, there is.
All the time.
Definitely 6 to 12 feet right in that range is really deadly out there at that time.
Yeah.
Throwing a
You got all
spy bait.
kinds of fish.
Oh, yeah. Throwing a spy bait around those cabbage beds, drop shot, Ned rigging. One thing that I try to tell guys is like cabbage is very important on that lake. If you have too dense of a cabbage bed, it's not good for smallmouth. They want that weird stringy kelp bed looking deal.
I like the move.
They want that because you have bait fish using that shade to hide from the birds.
Right.
They like that. If you get that denser stuff, that's more of your largemouth type cabbage bed.
Yes.
But you got to have perch grass because that's where your crawfish are. That's where your bugs are. That's where your perch are. That's where your spot tails are.
Right. Yep. They're coming to get you.
Yep.
They don't need no big old thick cover.
I tell you what, the bell hump is the best place to show somebody what perch grass is.
Right.
Just take a big old weight and drop it in it, and it disappears, and it still goes like a foot or two.
Right.
You're like, that's perch grass.
That's what it is.
It's a Brillo pad that's a foot deep, and it's got tunnels through it. And you'll see like perch peek up. You'll see a smallie from out of nowhere just go and try to crush it.
Yep.
Because it's so clear water. It's fun.
You know what? I'm not. We fished out there a couple times.
Yeah.
I don't fish out there much. It had a lot of hype a few years ago, and people went out there and blew it up for a while.
A lot of
I just
tournaments
kind of
won
stayed away
off of
from
it.
it since then.
A lot of summer tournaments are won there. Larry Nixon won a tournament.
Yep.
Carolina rigging a lizard.
Yep.
That's right.
Back then.
Carolina rigging. I know.
Ever since then, I think I just haven't seen as much. I mean, tournaments are still getting won out there, but I just never gone out there and fished as much. I just kind of was like, I'm over
Grisby was fishing the Bell Hump area for the FLW Tour event.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the thing is that everybody hears Bell Hump, they go to the hump. When we talk Bell Hump, it's 3 miles to the west, 3 miles to the east.
Yeah,
it's a 6 mile area of just scattered boulders and rock and birch grass. It's a big area. Yes, there's times that they will really focus on that underwater point in the hump out there.
Yeah.
But we're talking the South Shore when we say Bell Hump.
Yeah.
Right. That's
literally the whole South Shore.
It's the South Shore.
Well,
right.
You know,
that's what it is.
If I'm going out that way, a lot of times I'm going to look for them big chunk rock, right? And I'm looking for them shades where I can throw big swim baits, you know what I mean? Big paddle tails and stuff like that for smallmouth. If I'm going that way, right? But a lot of times I get out there, I get that way. That South Shore is just chocolate milk. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere else.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just timing for me. Right, just for like the year.
Seems like
I get down there and it's like,
oh
man, why did I drive down here? I didn't even think about it, right? And then I'm like, screw it, I'm going to fish the river. So, but for me, it's just
How many
Sorry,
times have you crossed the shipping channel and the lake just like it has dyslexia and totally changed?
Yeah, every time.
Completely. It's
Every
like,
Same
what?
exact
And it's
wind.
not-
It's like
Yeah.
instant. It's
And
like,
it's
what
Why
the
does it
hell?
look
not-
like this?
And I'll tell you one thing, you could be on either side of that and be very successful, right? You
Yeah.
could be on the side where it's really clear and like you're jacking them because it's clear, or the smallmouth are in that dirty water right on the other side of it, and they're just right inside that line
Yeah.
feeding too.
Well, not just the clarity, but the wave action.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Like basically from like the shipping channel to roughly a half mile to a mile, that
Yep.
lake will change.
Yeah.
You'll have an east wind or a west wind, and it'll get calmer on that far Canadian side. And we're still trying to figure out why that is. And it'd be
I
a
think it's
weekday and
'cause-
it does it. It's a
Right.
weekday
I think
and it
it's
does
'cause-
it.
Weird.
I think it's because Americans are crazy, right? And if you look at when you're coming up the shipping
Maybe.
channel
Might be
and you look
something
at
to
the
do with it.
U.S. side compared to boats on the Canadian side, they're like there's boats are like closer than we are. Like they're not
20 to
they're
1.
not practicing social distancing.
No social distancing between
and
those
and
boats.
on even like because like you come out of like the river and everybody's staying on the American side and they're just coming.
It's
Right?
like,
They're just
you guys are
coming.
making me really nervous.
And I'm
Yeah.
telling you, I don't know if they wore out a path in there or not, but
Maybe.
damn, there's so many in there. Like we can't even
nuts.
you can't even run.
It's like I don't know
Dude.
where to go.
In that Miracle Mile area down in there's some great rock humps to fish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's some great structure down there if you can deal with the boat traffic.
If you can
Yeah.
deal with it.
If you
Yeah.
find a VW bug down there, I'm telling you,
It's a great
those are
spot.
the best cars to fish off of. Not a lot of snags.
Smallmouth love the VW bug. I mean, that's just science. Right
There's a
there.
lot of
That's
cars. We
science.
marked a lot of cars in there.
Did you? Well,
Oh, man,
I finally have side imaging on my boat, and I got it late in the year. So I'm excited to get the boat out because I'm gonna go graph a bunch of wrecks
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
that I know how they're oriented. I know the rough idea how they look because when water's
Right.
clear, I can see it. But usually when
Yeah.
the water's that clear, those fish aren't there because it's the wrong time of the year.
Right.
Yeah.
So I want to go out and side scan these things and just get a full, really good picture
See
of
what
it
it looks
in my
like.
head.
Yeah.
So that when I'm on this wave, like I usually try to put about 6 waypoints on a wreck,
hmm
so that no matter how the wind is, that's the waypoint I use for this wind,
Right.
that wind.
You know what I want you to do? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go out to Detroit River this year, film it. I want you to magnet fish a big high-power magnet off the boat in the Detroit River. I want to see what you'll catch.
I
Can
don't
you
want to
please
sink
do
the
that for
boat,
me?
man. I don't want to sink the boat.
I want you to just see what you can look into. You'll probably lose a couple magnets, so bring a couple magnets because you're gonna
They found
Yeah.
freaking cannons from
Oh,
old
Right.
warships
I
and
know,
stuff.
it's such
Yeah.
cool stuff down there.
Think about the people in the South. They're like from shore. They're throwing it
Right,
over,
yeah.
trying to get they get like an iPhone or like a
Yeah.
spoon.
You ain't
That's
seen
gun
what you would
occasionally.
find. You
Oh,
know what you would
yeah.
find? You'd probably find
Probably
freaking.
solve a couple murders while you're
Oh my
out there.
goodness! I'm telling you,
That's
you'd probably
why I
find a-
don't want to do it because I don't want to be involved. I'm gonna find Hoffa.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Found him.
Yeah, right. And then you wouldn't find them, right? Because they'd be like, "No, you didn't
No,
find
you
them."
did not.
You didn't find that guy.
But
No.
that would be cool content, especially Detroit River magnet
Oh,
fishing.
man, that'd be
From
nuts.
a boat,
I know.
I would want a John boat because I have nice carpeting and nice paint job. I hate to say it.
Right. True.
I dirty my boat, but I don't want to do it to that.
Right. I don't want
That-
to go that far.
Yeah, you don't want to find a pistol wrapped in some dude's underwear. Bring that up onto the boat. You know what I mean? And the next thing you know, you got swine flu's back or something. You know what I mean? You just never know.
Well, think about the walleye jigging season. The the objects that float by occasionally
Oh yeah.
of the silicone variety.
Oh yeah. Those
Yeah.
things tend to float. Who knew?
I've seen
That
so many of those.
tend to be floating by.
No, that's actually not a bad idea. I need to get a John boat and go do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
I'll
that'd
get,
be
just
fun.
get a duck boat or
It'd be
something.
so fun.
I mean, even if you just get closer to the bank to see what people are throwing over
Right.
into the river, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Just
my
getting rid of.
goodness.
I mean, it would be a
I
series
can't
worth
imagine.
having on
It
your
would.
page.
It'd be fun.
Dude, if you were able to find like a brass prop or something, you know how much money
Right.
you would make?
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
granted, I don't think brass is magnetic.
I think they have a magnet for it, but
Do
you're
they?
not going to use
I
it
have
as the
no
same
idea.
as steel.
But if it has like a steel bushing in the middle of it
Right.
or part of a
Yeah,
shaft on it,
yeah.
and you latch onto that, That yellow brass is crazy expensive per pound.
That's big money.
You can go scrap that and pay for a new John boat if you get the right one.
Right.
I mean, even if you're going out there magnet fishing for scrap metal, we ought to get Nate on that. Nate's been scrapping.
Nate's our scrapper.
I don't know. He's our resident scrapping expert.
He is our scrapper.
We're gonna have to get him to do that.
He'd be like, "Oh, that's a good idea. Let's go."
Bass fishing scrap season.
He quit bass fishing.
You need to get him
scrapping.
He needs to go out there digging for weights for you guys, so you guys have lead.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. You can use the lead.
Go out there and scuba dive,
right.
find that snag, and find 100 pounds of lead on it. You know,
Right.
I mean, that would be cool, like a cool effort though to do. Also to go out there and try to clean up some of the lead out of the river, and then we'll come back here when we melt it down.
There's a guy up on the St Clair River that does it. He films like the sturgeon and stuff. He'll swim with the sturgeon up there by the bridge, and he'll collect weights and stuff all the time.
That's
and they turn around and sells them.
Yeah, it's probably not smart. He does that in the Detroit River, though.
Yeah, don't do that. Good idea.
Well, he's actually dove in the Detroit River, and that current is so it's like where he's diving on the St Clair River is crazy dangerous, but the bottom's natural.
Yeah.
Where in the Detroit River, that's not a natural bottom. It's
not black. It's
those
black.
Yeah, it's been dredged out. There's sharp edges. There's metal everywhere. It's not safe to dive in that current.
Don't go down there.
Because if you get screwed up and get kicked downstream, you could get tetanus and your ribs slashed open by some steel. And
you just don't know what's
basically asking for death.
It's a pretty dangerous job. Those dive crews for Detroit. They'll be down there trying to find somebody, and they find 4 cars.
Yeah,
right. I know. It's
like we just dove here last week. We never seen these cars. There's more.
Where did these get here?
And you know what they find down there? Also a bunch of standard Ned jigs too. I'm just saying. Not a bunch of Ned
hooks. That's right.
A lot of standard Ned jigs.
That's what you're gonna find out.
Totally.
Awesome.
So you guys got some jigs to make tomorrow, right? Or are you guys taking a
tomorrow?
Day off?
When we get off of here, we'll be making them.
We don't take time off.
Well, we should probably end it here. That way you guys can go work on those bigger hooks that we need.
I like it. I have been pushing them for a long time, but we did.
Listen, it'll be in the future.
Tiny little EWG hooks. They do exist. There's a size 2 and a size 4 on the market. Just saying. It exists.
Not a bad idea for crappie baits.
I'll keep in his ear. Don't worry.
Good for crappie jigs.
Crappie guys would be all about that. They would be all about that.
No, they just took the idea 5 seconds ago. Way to go. now Mr. Crappie's all over it.
Right.
No, he ain't watching this stream. He's in bed, man.
Right.
He's too old to watch this.
Yeah, true. Been around forever.
But definitely, guys. Thank you for
thank you.
hanging out.
Fun, man.
Yep. Got to learn a little bit about how you got started. I didn't know you guys worked in the auto industry. I didn't know that. But go figure. We live here in Michigan.
Yep.
We live here in Michigan. Go figure.
Shocking. I know. Weird.
So, but give everybody you guys a social really quick so they know how to find you and website and all that good stuff.
Everything is at Lifted Jigs. Yep. That's all.
Whatever platform you're on, we're pretty much on.
Yep.
So Tinder, Bubble.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. Plenty of fish.
Really, probably the best.
Sure. What do they call it? Like farmers only. It's not a bad idea.
I don't know what this is.
Not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea.
I'm going.
We're just trying to find dates for our jigs.
Right.
Bass anglers only or something. I don't know.
And then it's liftedjigs.com.
Liftedjigs.com. That's it.
Yep. If you ever want to find the Ned, just search on Google Ned EWG.
Yep.
Ned EWG extra wide gap, and you're gonna find it. Yep. Google Ned EWG. That's kind of what's been most of our famous searches has been Ned EWG.
Yeah.
So
that's a big
search that. You'll find us. Tackle Warehouse. Monster Bass, Carl's,
local retailer next to you.
Local retailer.
We're adding them weekly.
Our goals is 10,000 small retailers not interested in Bass Pro Shop.
Nope.
Just so you know.
Don't care. We like the little guys.
If you ask my opinion, I would tell you don't do it because you're not going to get paid on time.
Not interested in
but you know what? We're not high risk, high reward, right? That's the way it is.
That's a whole nother story altogether. I'm not going to go there. I've heard too many sad stories.
Yeah. Right. Don't care.
Yeah. Not interested in Bass Pro Shop.
Nope.
Walmart third party. We could sell on Walmart. We sell on Amazon. We sell on eBay. we sell a lot of third-party stuff too.
Yeah, we're everywhere.
So thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem.
Make
All right,
sure
brother.
if you're watching this that you go check them out. Give them lots of love and support. Buy their jigs.
Thank you.
They are awesome products. I fish a lot of them.
You do.
Hopefully here in the next few weeks, I'll have a nice, cool video out just for you guys.
Cool.
Highlighting your stuff if everything goes well.
Perfect.
If this coronavirus thing keeps going for a long time, I might have a little more time to fish than what I planned on.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, and guess what? I think we're supposed to get snow tonight or tomorrow, just so you know.
What?
So that's what I said. I was like,
Yes.
hold on.
What? I
1
put
to
the
2
snowblower away. Don't do this to me.
I
Guess
know.
what? Now you're the snowblower.
Right.
Well, I got plenty of time to do it. It's not like I'm
Right.
going anywhere, so who cares?
Yeah,
It'll melt the next day anyways.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
But all right, man. Thank you so
Yep.
much.
Yeah. Thanks for
Thanks,
having
guys.
us. This was awesome. We'll do it again.
We'll
definitely.
see you.
All right.
Yep. Later, guys.
All right.
Later.
See you.
So that's it, guys. That's the guys from Lifted Jigs. I can't thank them enough for hopping on. And as always, guys, tight lines, happy casting. We'll see you in the next video or off the dock session.